So everybody present, welcome. We have another webinar here. This is going to be a little thorough because we have something new. And Alan is coming all the way from Japan. He has, I was even wondering about his English because there's a time I thought Alan will not be able to get all from him. I thought he's not fluent, or maybe he doesn't, is not conversant with English, but he told me he's quite conversant with English. So we're going to learn a lot from today. Actually, the meeting is for Fruitarian diet, 1 full year, the challenges, advantages, or things you have seen, the results. But we're also going to focus on other things that maybe were developed, that maybe from culture, from Japan, the things that we may not know about Japan that he knows from his home, from his family, from all those kind of things. So this is going to be a wonderful time, my friend. Welcome. Can we say hi, everybody, before we can start the meeting? Somebody from, and you tell us where you come from. Here, Frederick Kudur from Kenya, as we say hi. Hi, and welcome, everybody. Somebody else, maybe?
Hello from Canada. Hi, Alan.
Welcome.
Sorry, no picture. It's pitch dark here, 3 a.m. Not very presentable, but I'm really happy to see your face and your smile.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi from Holland.
Holland, wonderful.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm Sherlight on Instagram.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Virtual
Sorry?
person.
Yeah,
nice to meet you virtually.
Yeah. Hi, Frederick.
Hi. I'm so happy to see you from Holland. Holland is also called Netherlands, eh?
Netherlands, yeah.
Okay. So happy to meet you here.
Yeah, so good.
Wonderful.
So good to see you
It's the
guys
first time
again.
I'm meeting you. This is the first time you're meeting, right?
Yeah.
Never met before. Okay.
Yeah, I'm usually on the background. I usually chat. I don't usually show my face.
Okay. But you're most welcome today.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Yes, hi. My name's Pam. I'm from the UK.
Wow, welcome, Pam.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I'm trying to watch my toddlers plus do this video, so be interesting.
Wonderful.
But yeah, I think so. Is Alan? He's going to be on as well.
He's already in the meeting. Alan is here. Okay, Alan, you can say hi to Pajmit.
Hi here.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm trying to stay raw. trying to eat as much fruit as I can, but I don't have the lifestyle right now to fully commit to it. So I need to find a way I can do it. Yes, Henry. Give the banana to Daddy. Go on. He'll open it.
So Alan is going to tackle that in his flow, as he's flowing, as he's going to talk to us. Pajmit? Anyone else, please? I know Pajmit has a question that Alan, we are going to answer it. Don't worry. With time, we're just introducing ourselves, then we'll get to the question.
Hi, Ravinish here from India.
Hey, who from India? Ravinish. Okay,
Ravinish.
Yeah. Okay, I see you. Thank you. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
What time is it now in India?
It's 1:30 p.m.
1:30 p.m. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I can see Sunny. Who else is around? Maybe who wants to say hi?
Hi, I'm here.
Happy to see you.
Nice to
Almost
see you.
all these meetings you don't miss. You don't miss. Thank you so much.
And I asked a lot of questions too.
Yeah, exactly. So I know you are prepared with some few today, or a lot. It's okay.
I haven't prepared any, but I'm also trying to be 100% raw vegan.
Wow.
It's getting easier as you go along, but it takes time to
not physically, but mentally, but it's about the cravings. It's about the that you're addicted. So you have to now
Okay.
I'm at the stage of trying to win off of salt.
Okay.
Sugar and coffee and all that is behind me, and carbohydrates and a lot of things, but it takes your whole life to just win off of all these addictions. It's lifestyle. It's a
And how long have you been in this lifestyle? Maybe how long? And
ever since many years, I think when I was started to be aware of things. So it's hard to find information about it. I mean, you have to start reading things and do research. It's not available, and people are also looking at you like you're crazy, and so it's not easy. But every time you find out new things, you meet new people, you learn things, and it takes time because it's not there for you. And now with all the pandemic, you see how irrational this is, and all the way of thinking is totally distorted. They're looking for quick fixes, and it doesn't work that way. You have to really detox and clean house, and that's where you have to start. Preventive medicine, not just look for quick fixes and magic pills or something like that. It doesn't work that way. You really have to clean. You have to be thorough and clean house and detox and your immune system has to work, function, not to rely on external, I don't know, vaccines or whatever. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It's also about the way of thinking, awareness. It's deeper than that. It's things that are deeper than that. And people are just panicked and they don't think. And
I got you. And I actually had some more questions. Just one more. How about your body? Do you feel dense, light, or what? How do you get living this lifestyle? How do you feel in your body? Is there a difference?
What I feel is that the brain is detoxing. You're more aware, intuitive. You're more calm, serenity. It's everything. It's about everything. Wow. And then you can't. And then you don't believe these lies, and then you don't panic, and you think for yourself. People stop thinking for themselves. That's what I feel. It's everything connected. It's a vicious circle. And it's about everything, awareness, and your body's clean and immune, and you think clearly, and you're calm, and you think for yourself. It's all together. It's process. It's complicated.
Very.
You understand.
I know all the people that are here know what I'm talking about. When you talk to other people, they don't understand it. You have to experience it for yourself. Understand it.
Yeah. So maybe do you have anybody else who has not said hi and feel like saying hi before we just start now officially our meeting?
Hi. Well, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi. Well, I find like when I manage to do 100% fruit on high water content fruit, which is quite hard most days because I have a 2 and a 3-year-old to look after, so I don't always have time to be prepping and doing all these things to make my day better. But when I do manage to do it, oh my god, I feel amazing. Like I want to run around like crazy. Like I just want to keep doing stuff, and I get into these modes where I just want to clean all day, or I have like so much energy, and sometimes it takes me so long to go to sleep. Like I just don't get tired. And then when I go back to eating cooked food, and it's like, oh my god, I want to go to sleep. Like potatoes, or it just could be anything, actually, anything cooked. And even salads, even when I have salads, it slows me down. But when I stay on fruit, I feel just like on top of this world, like I can accomplish like anything. Like I have rheumatoid arthritis, so this is the reason really why I'm trying to reverse it and still give up smoking. I'm still struggling to give up smoking. I don't know if it's the pandemic and being stuck at home or just the lifestyle, but I have just joined the gym. So I'm going to be starting the gym next month. So I'm hoping that's all going to help.
Yeah, definitely it will help you. Yeah, so there are some people who have said hi through the chat that maybe can recognize him. We have Dorothy, I don't know if I pronounced that name very well, from Denmark. We have Redmi from India. Do you have anyone else who wants to say hi? Then we start now, please. Time. If there is none, we start straight away. I know we are so many from different parts of the world, and Alan, we want to listen to a story. Maybe we're going to have questions later. From Ireland, Blood is here. So I think everybody wants to hear this. And as we get into what Alan is going to share with us, there's something I want to read from his last post in the Facebook, because he said something like, let me just get what he said. In his post, there was this post where he talked about, I broke my 36-hour fast with dragon fruits. It has been an interesting 1 year. The result of this diet was mind-blowing, and I learned a lot. I plan to continue learning and leveling up. Fruitarian diet a year highlights. The first thing, the fruit diet put my body through a detox. I lost a lot of unnecessary body fat. My weight dropped from 180 lbs to 119 lbs, and this is now back up to 150 lbs. Around day 90, I put out the mucoid, I don't know.
Mucoid plaque.
Mucoid plaque that was stuck in my intestine. My waist now smell like fruit and stopped smelling like shit. Read it the way it is. And then my energy level increased, and I work out nearly every day. I have not taken any supplements and feel no deficiencies. I now require less than usual sleep time to feel rested and energized. Fruits are so hydrating that I did not have to drink water for over 2 months, just living like a camel. There's a camel there. As I did more research on diet and nutrition, the more doors to these rabbit holes opened up. The next thing I know, I am sun gazing, grounding, working on my spa. Don't miss it. Don't miss this. That was just an advert that Arik wrote, so that people should come in. I just read up to that part of where I don't miss it. No, so people are here, and this is Aaron all the way from Japan. I'm so happy to meet you. And please just give us background. What is in Japan now? Maybe your culture a little, the types of food there, most common. I know you people like fish. I know people like fishing and eating fish. So you can start from there, Alan. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi again. I hope everybody's having a great time. Thank you, Frederick, for having me, and thank you for introducing me. For those who don't know, I'm currently at 376 days into this fruit fast, and also 23 hours into a fast. So I haven't eaten nothing since 6 p.m. yesterday, and I think it's about 5:30 p.m. right now here in Japan. Frederick asked about Japan. Japan right now, winter is faded away. Spring is coming. It's nice and warm now. The fruit that is in season right now, still a lot of citrus. So I was talking to the other host earlier before this went online, but it's very important to eat what's in season, or I believe it's important to eat what's in season, because nature kind of knows what we need during what time of the year. And if you live in a tropical area, great, all year long, nature will be giving you what you actually need. And let's see, in Japan, people are still not too familiar with veganism. Veganism is actually somewhat kind of new to them. It's kind of difficult to find a raw vegan restaurant or a joint where you can enjoy raw vegan food. So what I have to do is actually just go to supermarkets or markets and buy the fruit myself instead of going out into restaurants. Sometimes though, I follow friends and family into restaurants, and if they don't serve fruits, I eat socially raw salads. Raw leafy salads is what I prefer. And please, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm just gonna share my experience with fruitarianism and fasting, and also the benefits. Please feel free to ask any question. So a little bit of history. I'm 34 years old. About 15 years of my life, I struggled with obesity. And so that kind of opened me up to experiment with different types of diets, including different methods of fasting. And so I tried Atkins, which is pretty much carnivore. Remember when it was called Atkins back in the day, early 21st century? Atkins. I've done the vegan diet. I've done the low carb, which is keto or somewhat like keto. And I've done the keto, whole food vegan, which that's where it kind of like opened my head up like, oh, whole food vegan, I feel great. But which something also is weird is that the carnivore diet, I felt great as well. But I am currently on the fruitarian diet, and I continue to be on the fruitarian diet because I feel out of all the diets that I've experimented with, the fruitarian diet makes me feel best. Yes. So in, I believe 2020 last year is when March 2020 last year is when I started the fruitarian diet. For those who haven't done raw vegan or raw fruitarian, your body goes through a detox. So usually like the first week, a lot of fruitarians say the same thing. First week is when we feel the weakest. Our body is detoxing, we're feeling these detox symptoms. For me, my experience, day 3 was the most difficult. I felt so weak. I couldn't get out of bed, or I struggled to get out of bed. Day 4, I started to feel a little bit better. Day 5, day 6. Day 7, I believe, is when I woke up and I was feeling super energized. I started working out, and I pretty much just been working out almost every day. Before I jumped into the fruitarian diet, I was eating a garbage standard American diet. I was drinking beer, I was eating meats, I was eating processed foods, I was eating junk food, I was eating whatever. And at that time, I was really confident in losing a lot of weight or getting back in shape because I've been practicing fasting since 2018. And fasting is another good combination with the fruitarian diet for those who are for those who have goals of weight loss and detox. Oh, and then here's why I stuck with the fruitarian diet as opposed to a carnivore diet, is the detox effect. When I was young, when people tell me about, these hippie folks with the juicing, they tell me about detox. I didn't know nothing about it. I thought, okay, I sweat out whatever crap I ate yesterday and I'm good. I've underestimated the detox. So when I started eating fruits, within the first I would say 40 days, my stool stopped stinking and it didn't smell like anything. And I was like, oh wow, this is cool. But at that time I was still not emotionally and mentally content with giving up cooked foods for the rest of my life. And I believe it was around day 90, I was doing an experiment where I was collecting my stool to use as fertilizer for my garden. And I took a dump. I went number 2 in a bucket full of dirt and I left it outside. And 2 weeks later, I looked in the bucket. What usually is my poop kind of became dirt. And what was stuck in my intestines, other people will call it mucoid plaque. It's all this garbage that builds up in your intestines and it's hard to come out and it gets stuck in there. And people usually go to clinics and get a colon hydrotherapy, maybe pay thousands and you have to go back maybe 3 times a month to get it cleaned out. But the fruit diet, I was able to get it out. And when it came out, I felt so relieved. I didn't even know it came out, but I remember that dump. I remember that exact dump. It was like, oh my God, I feel so relieved. I felt so light. And this was around day 90. And around day 100, I was able to see my 6-pack abs. And I don't really focus on doing ab workouts, but I was able to see it. And for like, since my 20s, I'll be doing sit-ups, I'll be doing crunches, trying to get abs, and I would never get beautiful abs like that. And I was like, oh wow, maybe it was all that mucoid plaque that was kind of like stuck in there, and maybe whatever fat that I couldn't get rid of with other diets. I was able to get abs, and I was just like, oh wow. But besides the abs, it was the mucoid plaque that kind of got me into really like, oh wow, this diet is probably it. It helped me detox. My skin got really cleared. My brain, my mental clarity is increased. And from there, it was like, okay, I'm gonna continue this. This is probably the way we should be eating. This is probably the way our ancestors has been eating before they figured out tools to make fire and cook food. They were eating raw foods. And I believe they're a lot in tune with nature back in the day, and like how we breathe oxygen coming from the trees, and we give them carbon dioxide. We have that exchange with nature that I believe we have that exchange with nature that we forget now because of technology and because of how society is now, right? We kind of like separated from nature, and we're all just separate individuals now. Now we're no longer like part of the ecosystem. But from there, I started looking more and more into diet, and I did a lot of research, and a lot of things blew my mind when I've looked into the Bible. In Genesis, it's the first book when you open the Bible, and it's probably the first book that everybody skips because like Adam and Eve, where were the dinosaurs? But I haven't really like deciphered the Bible. I haven't looked into it enough, but in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, it talks about how God brought men on earth, right? But at the same time, he also put the fruit of man on earth. And it says in that verse, hey man, this is fruit. Inside the fruit, there's seed. And the seed you planted will grow more trees and grow more fruit. This is your food. And so it's like, oh wow. And I didn't want to just look into the Bible. I was raised Catholic and also Shinto, but I wanted to look at what other ancient cultures texts are saying. And then in the Bhagavad Gita, the ancient, I want to say Hindu or Indian text, I believe it was chapter 17, and it was explaining foods that put you in the mode of goodness. And it was pretty much describing raw fruits. And I was just like, oh, wow. Ancient texts, ancient writings are talking about the fruit diet. But when you Google nowadays, when you Google fruitarian diet, the first couple articles you see, right? Science is telling us the fruitarian diet is not good for you. It's got deficiencies. They probably show a picture of a really skinny fruitarian dude, look malnutrition. It's like, it's right. Mainstream media, mainstream science, mainstream health, nutrition science, I believe it's not 100% there yet. They have some information that they don't know. They're not perfect, right? And sometimes it's the information you find in mainstream science is incorrect. And the way you can find out is to just verify it for yourself. Some things you can verify for yourself, right? When NASA shoots people up on the moon and they're like, hey, the moon looks like this, right? A lot of us, we can't verify it. All we can do is see the TV and like, oh, I guess they did go to the moon. But there are some things that you can verify, right? And then diet is one of them. So, oh man, where do I start? Or I lost my train of thought. But if anybody has any questions now, please feel free to ask. Okay, no. I want to go back to, for those who want to jump into the fruitarian diet.
I just want to.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, I can't. I think. This part of science and information, I think it's very key, because we find that what we find in the research that we can find online discourage fruitarian lifestyle. They actually feel somebody is going to lose where is going to be a source of protein. They'll ask you, so iron, where do you get all these things? And even these things that we get from the animal products and that kind of diet. So you find that they are discouraging, and most of the people have no information that you have now, because you have the experience. You see, with information, the power of information is not just reading theory, not just in theories, it is in practicality. What somebody has done. This is the reason why we want to draw from you, to get your journey step by step, because information that works is information that has been proven, has been tested, something that somebody has experienced. If somebody has gone through some experience like you have done, then now it gives us the answers to these things that are like questions that don't have clear answers. People are just suggesting, if you eat fruits, maybe you're going to be very malnutritionized. No, you're going to become very, very weak. You can't. You are going to lose a lot of muscles. There are things like that. They're saying.
Right.
And did you lose any muscles? Maybe.
I cannot prove that I lost any muscles, but I do post my workouts online. And the first 100 days I was making sure that everybody knew that I was doing fine by doing extreme workouts. Like I'll strap like 50 pounds on, and I'll be doing chin-ups, and I'll be showing like, hey guys, this is the protein that fruits give us. Apparently, if you look online, and if you look like nutrition facts for like pears or watermelon, they do have some protein content. But it also makes me wonder, do we really need that much protein? Why do you need that much protein? And I feel like you lose muscle. A lot of us, we lose muscle if our activity level decreases. If we keep our activity level up, your body knows, hey, if we lose this muscle, we probably won't be able to keep up with this activity. So your body's really smart. And I think, yeah, as you lose or you lessen your activity, your body's like, oh, we don't need this extra muscle. It's extra weight. It's giving us, it's making our heart work harder. We'll get rid of it, right? But that's another fear that people have, right? Protein, vitamin B12, and sugar is another thing, right? Everybody's like, what about sugar? I'm diabetic. Wouldn't sugar affect you? I want to say I've never been diagnosed diabetic, but I have struggled from hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar. When I was a child, I was really obese and I was eating all kinds of sweets. And for maybe like 3 or 4 hours after I eat something, I will feel weak again and shaky, and I have cold sweats. And I've always associated that with hunger. But now I know that was hypoglycemia, that was low blood sugar. And with fruits, I don't feel that anymore. Except with conventionally grown bananas. And I suggest everybody, if you're gonna go into the fruit diet, conventionally grown is okay. Organic is better. And I think ultimately the fruits you grow is probably the best for you, because you have that exchange. You breathe its oxygen, it breathes your carbon dioxide. Yeah, you exchange love, right? I feel like there's more of a connection than just giving it water. And there's some folks are talking about the fruits. They see what you're detoxing. They see the bacteria that's in you. Especially, I've eaten a lot of tomatoes. I believe this was around day after the first month, when my poop stopped stinking, I ate a bunch of tomatoes and I pooped in a bucket full of dirt. And 2 weeks later, there's tomatoes growing out of it beautifully without any fertilizer burn. So it went through my body and it still grew. And so I'm thinking these tomatoes, they know what's in me. They know my bacteria, what's in my bacteria. And in order for me to continue helping it disperse its seed, that's its exchange. It gives me fruit. I help disperse its seeds. Just like flowers give nectar to honey, to bees, and exchange bees help it pollinate. We have that connection with nature. And I believe just by seeing what's inside my body, they know what we kind of need, and then they adjust to accommodate us. Right? Okay, so
wow, that's
right,
something that we have not had anything like that before. It's mind blowing.
Isn't that great? If it, I mean,
that is good information.
I can't prove it's true, but the fruits I've grown just hit you different, right? Even the cannabis you grow just hits you different compared to the cannabis you buy.
Wow. That means we should have some big, they are called orchards, orchards. We should have some big orchards around our home. Should have some fruits grown in our homes, in our areas where we stay, because you have really brought something very clear, Alan, that you buy is very different. Again, the other idea is that there's that connection when you have them at home, but there's also the issue of when they're grown out, you don't know what chemicals have been used to bring them up. Maybe the fertilizers, the what that has been used, you can't know the combinations. Some are from the GMO family, you may not know. So you must be sure of what you have. And you just take me back to that Garden of Eden, where Adam has to take care of his plants, and again that becomes his food. Where at home where he's staying, he's taking care of them, and then again that's what he eats as his food. So I've seen that connection, and that I think this has come very clearly. For the first time, you are now getting us to that level where you are at your own place with your own experience with what you do, different from what we have read in the internet, what we have outside there. We don't know. Yeah, this is now practically what you do. The other thing that I really wanted to you to maybe tell us about is the type of fruits. You at the beginning of you were talking about maybe watermelon. What do you have a season? How do you take them? Do you have a season where you can say, because you also talked about the season? Maybe I'm just taking you back. Talk about eating the fruits in the season. You talked about that, right? By nature brings us for fruits in the season. So it's good we take advantage of the fruits in the season. But how about yourself now? Sometimes some fruits are not there. The others that are all season. They are all throughout. They're there. Do you have a time where you prioritize yourself? You put priority on some type of fruit at a period. Maybe let's say for a month or for a week, you are only dwelling on this one, mono, the way you call mono fruit.
Yes.
Exactly. And then what are your experiences when you have just the mono fruit, and then sometimes when you are mixing them? Maybe you can give us some clarification at that point.
Yes. Good question. I forgot to get into that. Monofruiting is eating one type of fruit. When I say one type, it could be just citrus, like citrus. So you can eat lemons, you could eat oranges, as long as it is a similar type and it's separated into acidic, subacidic, sweet, and melons, and fats, which is avocados. If you mix these fruits, supposedly it slows down your digestion, right? Your body needs this enzyme to process this fruit. Your body needs this enzyme to process that food. So it slows down digestion, and and it takes a lot of energy to burn. So I forget, Mrs. earlier was talking about when she ate salads, right? She got more tired. It takes a lot more to digest salads, supposedly. And if you have mixed salads, right, it's your body's using a lot more energy to digest these foods. So if you just have one type of fruit, which is monofruiting, the enzymes required to break down that fruit is that's it. They just focus on that enzyme, and it's easy to digest and easy to convert into energy. And when I first started the fruitarian diet, I didn't know about all this. I had to talk to other fruitarians and all that. They're like, don't don't mix acidic fruits and non-acidic fruits, right? So I had to learn all this as I'm doing it. And as I did it, I realized, yeah, it feels a lot better and you feel more energized. And I know Mrs. earlier was talking about she can't go to sleep sometimes. Yeah, you have so much energy that your sleep hours become less. And now imagine you sleep less, feel still energized. Now you have the freedom to do a lot more things within the day, right? If you eat pizzas, you eat all these junk foods, your body takes so much energy to process these foods, to digest these foods, that you feel tired, you need to take naps. Now you don't. Now you have more time to spend with the world. So it's awesome. And I wanted to show you like example of like what I can eat within the day. For people who are starting, I suggest eating lots of fruits until you're satisfied. So what I do is I usually just keep a lot of fruits with me. I got one of my favorites is pineapple, very hydrating. So if I was to eat one meal, I'll just eat, 2 pineapples as one meal. Pineapples are considered acidic, so you can probably eat it with other acidic fruits. You can combine these, right? I have a bunch of citrus, a bunch of pineapples. All that. So I always keep a box full of fruits. And I could eat this all day, right? All day. But what I practice is I eat within an 8-hour window, and then I fast for at least 16 hours. Currently, I'm probably at 24 hours right now, still not hungry. So a lot of the cravings are coming from an emotional place. This is from what I understand. And the more you continue this diet, the more these cravings will decrease. And that's from my experience. And then finally, right, that one moment where I realized that mucoid plaque came out of my body, and the combination of what's written in the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita and all these ancient teachings, and it was just like, all right, no more meat, no more cooked foods. I'm content with this. And I've for those who want to do this diet for detox and weight loss, I do not suggest too much avocados or bananas. Apparently they slow down the detox effect. And avocados, I noticed I could eat like 20 of these avocados and I will gain weight. So if you're trying to lose weight, maybe 20 avocados a day is probably not a good idea. And I don't usually buy bananas because I've mentioned earlier the conventionally grown bananas. I get a reaction out of it, and I get low blood sugar. But sometimes I get them as gifts. When the universe gives me fruits as gifts, I accept and I eat it. And make sure you eat a lot of these fruits when they're ripe. From what I heard, a lot of raw vegans and fruitarians, they lose their teeth. They lose their teeth because they eat a lot of unripe fruits, which is very acidic. And when they do eat acidic fruits, they brush right away, and that kind of destroys the teeth. So be very mindful of your teeth. Don't brush right away after eating like oranges or lemons or grapefruits, very acidic, even pineapples. Don't brush right away. Don't brush right away. I also do not drink water. This is for the detox and weight loss folks. I also do not drink water while I'm eating, because the water will mix with the your acid in your stomach, and it'll slow down digestion. So when you drink water, if you were to drink water, please, I would suggest drinking it maybe 30 minutes before eating, or maybe like an hour after eating. And if you do eat a lot of juicy fruits, you notice that you stop getting thirsty, right? And I know somebody earlier mentioned that you're trying to get rid of the salt addiction. I know that's one of the hardest addiction that I had to battle with, was salt and cheese. And I noticed when I water fast for a long time, I work out, I started getting cramps. I started getting cramps in my leg. You know how you wake up in the morning, you stretch your leg and it starts to cramp. Anybody feel that before? I've noticed adding Himalayan pink salt to my water while I fast helps me lengthen my water fast duration. It keeps me it keeps me energized. And I've from what I've understand, Himalayan pink salt, sodium and potassium is electrolytes, and our body needs the electrolytes, right? So if you, I'm thinking there is also sodium in fruits. There is also sodium in fruits, but how do we not eat? How do we not have our body crave these salts? I believe we lessen the water we drink, and we just get our sodium from fruits. I noticed the less water I drink, the less I crave salts. For if we fast and drink a lot of water, we end up depleting our salts, our electrolytes. We pee it out, we sweat it out, and then we feel like crap, and we get these cramps, right, when we stretch. So that's another thing to think about. For those who are interested in fasting, who have never fasted before and have low blood sugar issues, from my experience, the more I fast, the more these issues decrease. But before that, I noticed if I add apple cider vinegar to my diet, it helps maintain blood sugar and it prevents sugar crashes. So that really helped out for me back in 2018 when I started doing a lot of fasting. And I got to the point where I eat maybe once every 4 days, and your mindset just changes. It's like, oh, I don't know why thought I needed to eat every day. And then you watch all these people eating their junk foods and all that, and I can't go a day without it. And you start to see their pain, and it's I hope the world becomes a better place. I hope the best for everybody. And yes, so when I was able to dry fast for almost 6 days and still work out. So the more you fast, the more experience you get in fasting, the more you get used to it. And because I started out with fasting first in 2018, my fear of going fruitarian significantly decreased. And then this one morning in March, I woke up, I opened a coconut, I share it with my dog, and I'm like, all right, starting today, I'm just gonna eat fruits. And 376 days later, I'm still just eating fruits. Just note though, I thought coconuts were fruits, but apparently they're considered nuts. And so, I started off raw vegan. And those who don't want to hop into it right away, or tried to hop into it right away and kind of failed, maybe try approaching it differently, like a slower transition at your pace. For example, I'm eating crappy diet. I'll start off by quitting junk foods first. I'll quit junk foods first, and then I'll go vegetarian, and then I'll go vegan, and then whole food vegan, then raw vegan, then fruitarian. So maybe going your own pace might make it easier, but it's not impossible to jump right in. And I'm hoping my experience and my data will help everybody decrease their fear of just going fruits. And fasting, the more we experience fasting and the more we experience this fruitarian diet, the more these cravings, right, decrease, and we're able to beat these food addiction. We detox that food addiction out, and it's another level of freedom. It's another level of freedom. It's like, I don't have, you're on a long road trip. You don't really think of like, oh, I gotta stop somewhere and eat at this place, or oh, I gotta cook this. I gotta, you maybe spend an hour of your time preparing a meal, cooking a meal, right? Now that hour within your time can be decreased, and you can work on other arts or other things, or spend more time with family or friends, and you start to have more freedom, and more time to better yourself if you like. Let's see what else. There's so much I have to talk about. I lost my train of thought, but if anybody has any questions right now, please feel free.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah. Do you also do the longer dry fasts already?
I've done long dry fast. My longest was 142 hours, but this was done back in 2019. Yeah. I usually dry fast almost every day, at least 12 hours, right?
Yeah.
I sleep like 6 hours, and then I don't really drink water until I don't drink water until
Yeah.
like I really work out. Today I had a hard workout, so I had sips of water, but I have yet to eat. And dry fasting, it's probably one of the fastest way to lose weight and fastest way to detox.
Yeah, because I use it because I'm a fruitarian too, raw vegan.
Awesome.
And I use the dry fasting too for detox. I never had any like weight issues going on, so I only use it to detox. But I noticed when you're already on the fruits, or at least raw vegan, I guess.
Yeah.
But mine experience is more from a fruitarian experience. I've noticed that when you start to dry fast, you also, because I'm used to like I can go up to like 7 days dry fasting.
Oh,
yeah.
whoa.
But I've noticed the other day I did like the last time I did like 4 days, and then I got even quicker into my results. And I guess
Wow.
I think it's because you're already cleaning your body and keeping it clean, you know. Yeah. And then the dry fasts also are more are better. Yeah.
I believe since you've been doing longer, your body's already detoxing to the point where it's very efficient. It becomes
very efficient, and you get quicker results. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. But great to hear your experience. It's always nice to hear fellow fruitarians. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Also, I want to mention for those who are experienced with fasting, who wants to go into dry fasting, to remember to lessen that fear. Imagine a camel's hump is not actually water, it's fats. So what your body does is break down the fats. As it breaks down the fats, the fat storage probably have toxins that it gets rid of. So that's part of the detox. But it breaks down the fats. Apparently, so supposedly, according to science, there's hydrogen in fats, and we breathe oxygen. So hydrogen and oxygen makes water, pure water, and so it's the cleanest water your body makes while it detox. So if you have fats, if you have stored body fat, please do not be too afraid of dry fasting. But I also suggest water fasting first, and experience water fasting first before you get into dry fasting.
My own journey was like a really long one, actually, because I started it off like in 2007, and I started it with like making my own food, you know, when I was still on cooked foods, like making my own foods, and then whole foods, and then later on raw foods. And then I learned about Dr. Morse. I don't know if you know about Dr. Morse. Yeah, and he was really my teacher, you know, when it comes to like detox and the fruits and everything. And yeah, ever since like the end of 2011, I started the whole fruitarian journey, and it was ups and downs, you know. But my journey was like a really long and like with ups and downs. And so I didn't went cold turkey or anything, but it's definitely like the fruits when it comes to like diet and what we're supposed to eat, you know, like humans. I think it's actually the fruits, you know, and we don't need anything else. But the thing is, you need to detox first. Get your body on that level, you know, and then I think we don't need anything else except for fruits, and maybe even beyond, you know. You can go towards vegetarianism and
prana. I do have a story of the prana, but before I get into that, like you said, there's gonna be ups and downs in this journey. When I first started, there's so many people opposing what I'm doing, so many people shoot it their way, because it's not their fault. They don't, you know, if they research mainstream science, they're gonna be like, oh, see, it says it's bad, or it's fear. right? They're saying this out of their emotion instead of actually researching and experiencing themselves. And because of fear, it's going to be hard for them to experience it themselves, because a lot of people are like, no, I don't want to fast
Yeah.
for over a day, I'll die.
And the
I don't want to just eat
indoctrination,
fruits.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're really indoctrinated, you know. I
It is.
mean,
They
for a
are.
lot of people, a lot of people are like, they look at fruits and for them it's like, oh, that's a nice side dish, you know. They eat only one mandarin, so their brain is not used to think that fruit is actually a meal.
Right.
You know, for
They
them it's
think
like
that's like a snack or a dessert, right?
dessert. Yeah, but it's I mean like we've been lied to for so long, you know, when it comes to like the government and like everyone, you know, all these like big organizations, you know, multinationals that are making lots of money, you know, from being sick, you know, and medicine. Yeah. And
right.
So they're never gonna tell us the truth about fruits and stuff like that, you know, and detox and dry fasting. They're never gonna, you know, they're gonna keep fighting that, you know,
right.
to keep certain information from us.
Right.
Yeah.
The big pharma, big food industry, I think they're ultimately one entity.
Yeah.
Working to keep us limited, smart enough to continue society system. And yeah, they're very powerful. And I could imagine, I can't prove any of these things, but I can imagine they can pay universities to, hey, don't give out that results of sugar, blame it on the calories, or you know,
I think that's what's going on. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see like the Olympics sponsored by McDonald's or Taco Bell.
There you go.
See the Olympics. The Olympics are never sponsored by Florida oranges.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, they make too much money off of controlling us and you know, keeping us limited. And you know, modern medicine, I feel like they're just suppressing the disease and not curing the disease.
Yeah, because that keeps you in a loop, you know, that keeps them making money. You know, if you keep people you don't want people to die immediately, of course, because you need them.
Right.
But you want to keep them in the middle, like kind of sick all the time.
Yes.
And so they can keep making money. Yeah, it's awful.
I want to think, or I want to say that they're keeping us sick and die at an earlier age than if we get any older, we might wake up to a lot of these things. So before we wake up to a lot of these things, I think that's how they want us to die around that age before we really wake up. Like
exactly. Yeah.
It's gonna be like people like us who just be the example and show people the results and say, hey, maybe the mainstream nutrition health science is incorrect or have some misinformation. You don't have to tell them all about, hey, the government is controlling all this. No. It's, hey, maybe look at my results. I'm doing fine. You know, I'm just eating fruits, but I didn't have to eat the whole day today, and I'm super
Exactly, because I don't know if is that your experience too, because I noticed in my surroundings too, in the beginning they laugh at you and they think you're crazy, but once they now they start to see the results, they're like, it's as if you're not getting old, you know. They're like, what are you doing? And now they're even like making smoothies and like starting to eat more fruits, and you know, so you only have to show, you know, be an example.
Yes.
And then the rest will follow, by itself. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, people who are saying, no, this is bad idea. They see my results and
later on,
you know, stop. And some of them start asking me like, hey, so what kind of supplements are you taking? Okay. And it's like, it blows my mind, because when you read mainstream science, it talks about deficiency, and I'm at 376 days already, no supplements, just fruits, still have not felt any deficiencies. And I try to show the world that by posting like my workouts. Like my workouts are not, like child's play. It's
No,
actually,
I've seen them. Yeah, really amazing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When it comes to the deficiencies, it depends, because for me, and I think a lot of women who were on a birth control pill. I've been on birth control pill for a long time. They gave it to me when I was like 14 for acne. It was the worst decision ever, but yeah, you're young and you don't know a lot at that age,
right.
But it really destroys your hormonal system. And so for me, when it comes to like stuff like my B12 was like dangerously low. So I had to supplement in the beginning, and I still do when it comes to B12. But I know for sure, once your gut is like really cleaned out, you don't need B12 because it's really a gut issue when it comes to B12. You start making your own B12, and B12 is in the fruits. So it's I mean, when it comes to supplementing, sometimes it can be necessary if you're already dangerously low, on a certain vitamin or mineral. But after you cleaned out, then you're good to go.
Yes.
And I mean, like, it's just my whole point, is just the fruits in combination with, because I know the audience in here are a lot of like dry fasters and interested in prana, living on prana. And so just for me, my experience, and I think that's your experience too, is like dry fasting and fruits, the fruitarian diet is like really such a good combination,
Yes.
to get there. Yeah. So yeah, I hope we get a lot of like fruitarian communities soon too.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've noticed the population of fruitarians are increasing, and that's really making me happy.
Yeah,
and,
me too.
And for those ladies, females who are worried about fasting affecting, I've heard this question a lot, but I'm not a female myself, so I can't really answer it, affecting periods and all that. But I've also heard that fasting will help balance your hormones.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Because I've in my journey, I noticed in the beginning how my periods, because I used to have like heavy periods, and I used to have like really light periods, and then after a while, as soon as I started dry fasting, actually, my periods became heavier again. But I guess that's because of cleansing out on a deeper level. Because that's my experience, once you start digging in deeper into your cells to clean up, you can start, it can get worse before it gets better again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people should not fear that.
Exactly.
That's
go,
one of the
just
things.
go, just push through. Right. Yeah.
One of the things that stops people from continuing is that detox, that deep cleansing, the detox symptoms. Right away, a lot of people, I want to say, they give up. Yeah. Push through. I was able to do it. Shireen's able to do it. A lot of folks were able to do it. Just believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And try to decrease that fear. Let go of that fear, and push through. And you were talking about vitamin B12. That's how that's where I came up with. Ultimately, we should growing your own garden, eating the fruits.
Yeah,
exactly. Is probably the best, because from what I understand, B12 is coming from bacteria.
Yeah.
And if you have good gut bacteria, and not taking a lot of antibiotics or anything, just have good bacteria, good microbiome from the natural foods you eat. I believe later on that we don't need that. And I hear there's a Fruitarian in Japan. I have not met her, a female.
Oh. Okay.
They did studies apparently on her. She wrote a book that they found bacteria in her body that makes these nutrients for her.
Yeah.
And when I say Fruitarian, she just drinks a cup of I believe wheatgrass every morning.
Yeah.
That's all she takes.
Wow.
And then the rest, I'm
Amazing.
pretty sure prana, right?
Yeah.
And the prana story. Last summer, I went climbing up this mountain, and it's not a hike; it's a climb. It's like 90 degrees, and you're
Yeah.
climbing.
Yeah.
I went with I just had my pajamas on. I posted this in my social media, but I
Okay.
pajamas on, no breakfast, no water, just climbing, just the nice nature. The sun was, I feel like the sun, the nature, the trees were giving me energy. And I was with my cousin, really good guy. And I feel like we're all energy balls. We're all humans are energy balls. And we could share energy with each other.
Absolutely.
And a good example of this is, let's say you're in a room, you're a bunch of friends having a good time, ha 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 ha. And then somebody who you guys don't really like, somebody who's always negative walks in the room, and then the energy of the room just changes,
drops.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's, I feel like, yeah, we are energy. And
absolutely.
And being positive like Shireen, and having that experience and being bright and being that example, I hope that we could share this energy with people, and then that helps people go through their fast, or helps people beat their addiction, and helps people with their diet, and carry this through. And I think
freedom and freedom from the system, huh? It frees you from the system. Yeah.
I hope we do beat the system one day, and maybe I won't be alive to see it. Yeah. But your kids, your grandkids, their kids, I hope they live a beautiful heaven on earth, Garden of Eden type life out there, and that's ultimately what I want now. Before it was money, hoes, cars, and clothes for me. But
yes,
a lot of these things change. I was an atheist, and you start to see. I haven't looked all the way into the Bible. It's just Genesis, just the Genesis book. I still have to reread, and it just blows your mind, and it's really hard to decipher what's going on. And yeah, I'm here to continue learning and continue leveling up, and I want to help everybody to continue leveling up.
Oh, you're doing a great job, man. You're doing a great job. Yeah. I always like your posts and everything. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey. We learn a lot. Yeah.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear. I love you all, and this is.
Same.
I feel like, hey, I've been just wasting my life just partying. I want to put my life into something that the world can benefit from, and I hope like data helps, and I hope everybody's data.
Definitely. We have to keep sharing. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I'll give someone else an opportunity to ask questions. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
I say you were talking about the system and how all these scientific researchers, somebody finances them, so they're not objective. Nobody's going to finance a research that is not going to benefit them. It's all about interests, and they find that this medicine is good for that, and this medicine is good for that, because somebody's behind it. Somebody's paying money to get these results. Nobody's going to finance anything that it's not in their best interest. So I don't believe all these researchers, because they're not objective. And the system, it's so frustrating that they're lying to us and deliberately, and they're causing more harm than good. And also I'm also I also ask, why don't people use their head? Why don't people think? Why don't people believe? On the one hand, you ask why they're lying to us, but then why are people believing all these lies? Don't people use their heads? And when you start questioning these things, they look at you. You're weird. They know what they're saying. Who are you to question them? You have to just believe what they're saying, and it's so frustrating. Open your eyes. I mean, all these doctors and professors, I don't know, they work for who, they work for all these big pharma companies. They're getting paid for it. They're not subjective. So just start thinking and thinking for yourself. You know, I live in Israel, and with all the vaccines now that they're pressuring people to take the vaccines, I mean, they have no right to do that. It's my body. I can decide for myself, and people are cooperating. I mean, it's not just the government or the authorities that are pressuring. People are cooperating, complying,
Yes.
so not resisting, and they look at you like when you say that you believe in nature and your immune system and preventive medicine, they look at you like you're crazy. You don't believe these doctors, you don't believe all these researchers, and who are you to think for yourself? And you know, it's frustrating. Why aren't many people, why don't many people understand that? Open their eyes, start thinking. You know, all the members in my family, they got vaccinated, and they look at me as if I'm, I don't know, a leper or something. Something's wrong with me, and I'm contagious, and I'm, you know, I don't want any medicine, and I don't want. And the thing is that they have to take it every 6 months. I don't know what for the rest of their lives, because this, I understand this vaccine is changing the RNA, the DNA. I don't know. It's what's it's doing there. It's taking over the immune system, and it's destroying your immune system, and you're going to depend on them for the rest of your life, on injections and vaccines. Otherwise, you're not going to have an immune system. Like, start thinking for yourself. You want something to take over your immune system instead of being healthy and improving your immune system. You know, it's crazy. People just, so I wanted to ask you first a technical question, like fruitarian, that means no vegetables at all, just fruits. You have to, so no tomatoes, no peppers, no.
Tomatoes and peppers are actually considered the fruit of the plant, actually. So if you want to imagine flower girls, the flower gets pollinated and makes a little fleshy thing with seeds in the inside. That's usually the fruit. So tomatoes are actually considered fruits, and so are peppers. And so are peppers.
What is considered vegetables? And peas, I like peas, and maybe that's not good.
Yeah, I would say that's a vegetable or a seed. Vegetable, it's hard for me to explain. I would say like the flower of the plant, broccoli, the stem of the plant, asparagus, maybe the leaves, lettuce, right? The root, turnips, carrots. Those are, I want to say, those are vegetables. And yeah, some fruits are eaten like vegetables, like zucchini, cucumbers, tomatoes. But if you look at the plant, I want to say anatomy, I don't know if that's the right word, but scientifically, if you look at it, that is the fruit of the plant. And I try to avoid zucchinis and cucumbers because they're ultimately, I don't think they're ripe when you eat it, right? It's even okra, I don't think they're ripe when you eat it. You end up, what I would consider ripe is when the seeds are ready to be planted and the fruit still tastes good, you know. If you try to plant a cucumber seed while it's, you know, that juicy cucumber seed, it's not gonna grow because the seed is not yet mature. And so are okra. We harvest them a little early and we eat them like vegetables. So I skip those. I try to avoid those. I don't go out and buy them. But I mentioned earlier, if I go out with friends to like restaurants, and if the restaurant doesn't serve any raw fruits, then sure, I'll eat raw vegan. I'll eat. And I would prefer leafy vegetables over roots or stems, because you ultimately, like if I eat basil leaves, I don't kill the plant. I don't kill the plant. If we eat the roots of the plant, like carrots, then the plant dies. If we eat sprouts, we're pretty much eating babies. If we eat peas, we're eating the seeds of the plant. The seeds of the plant is potential life, and we're taking away life. I'm not saying everybody should do what I'm doing, but this is currently what I'm practicing. Try my best not to take away life. Even vegans, they really care about animal life, and I would say fruitarians, they somewhat care about plant life as well. I don't want to say animal is higher than plants, and I want to say everybody is equal. Man, animal, plants, earth, everything is one. Everything is one. So a friend of mine last week was telling me, if we try to convince people to go raw vegan, if we try to convince people to go fruitarian, if we try to convince people to not take vaccines, then I look at them as separate. And we shouldn't look at everybody as separate. We should look at everybody as one. And hopefully the more people like you increase, the population of folks like you increase, our collective consciousness levels up, and we start waking up to a better world, better era, golden age, and we're all happy, and there's heaven on earth, and we're all working on art. And we don't have to work 9 to 5, working for money that doesn't, the value of money is just all in our heads. Like, we kill, we steal, we lie, we cheat for money. Yet what is money? Is just, it used to be a receipt for gold. I don't think there's enough gold in the world to exchange all that money, but I don't know that. But yeah, it's, and you're mentioning it's frustrating to tell these folks, because I want to imagine they're exposed to a lot of things through media growing up, right? They're exposed to public school systems and the teachings of the public school, when a lot of these textbook writing universities can easily be funded by big pharma, big food industry, and then the information can be corrupted to match their interests, to accommodate their needs, right? So what we learn in public school, or what we learn in school, the information can be corrupted. Media gives us a lot of corrupted information that we don't realize. Like, if a doctor got a degree, he knows everything. Why not listen to you, fruitarian? We'll listen to the doctor. You look at the doctor, he's like obese, right?
I look at the doctors. Am I going to take advice from them? Look at them and look at me. I mean,
yeah,
it's terrible. They're also sick. They're unaware of nutrition. They don't teach them nutrition. Just all kinds of. I think doctors today are like pharmacists. That all they know is about different medications. They don't know about healthy lifestyle, nutrition, preventive medicine, holistic medicine. They don't know about that, and it's frustrating.
It is. It's very frustrating, and ultimately, I feel like it's maybe some of them it's their fault, but some it's not their fault. This is what they think is right. And it's the same with vaccine. Some people think I'm doing the right thing, and it's looked up like we're heroes for getting vaccines in, and then that pressures other people, right? When they put it on social media, I got my vaccine for my family, I got my vaccine for the world peace, baby. But that pressures other people, like, I mean, maybe I should go get back. He got a vaccine, maybe it's okay for me to get a vaccine. But I suggest, please look into these things. Try to question a lot of things, especially when whatever mainstream media or mainstream science is giving us. Try to question things. We probably won't be able to find out the answer to everything, but some things like this fruitarian diet, good thing I questioned it, good thing I was curious, good thing I tried it out. Well, otherwise I wouldn't feel like I am right now. Probably still be obese trying to figure out what to do next. But it's very frustrating, and I think ultimately it's fear. We've been exposed to a lot of fear, and fear makes us want to go get that vaccine. Fear makes us want to wear that mask. It could also be hypnosis from these propaganda and all these
brainwashing
from media. Brainwashing, and people can't. It's like hypnosis, and maybe it's like when we go tell them, hey, you're brainwashed, you're hypnotized, they react to that, those cold words, and be like, no, you're crazy, you're theorist, a conspiracy theorist, you know, and it's frustrating. So ultimately now I try not to be aggressive as much anymore. I try to forgive them, try to be understanding from where they're coming from. And when they tell you about vaccine, yeah, I understand why you think that, because all that exposure, and you know, forgive them, thank them for their you know, existence, thank them for their advice, and you do your own thing and you be the example. People see you shining, and they will want to follow that. They've been going through this dark past. Some people might not wake up, and maybe this is not meant. Maybe this lifetime is not meant for them. Maybe they, you know, it's like a video game where you have to I failed, I gotta redo it again and again. Some people maybe have to redo it again and again and again. And maybe we have done it again and again and again. And maybe this time is our time to ascend. And I'm very happy that, you know, internet can be a very bad thing, right? Because, you know, fear mongering information can be easily spread on internet. But I'm glad that because of internet, I'm able to connect with everybody now. You know, when I first started the fruitarian diet, I was living on the island of Tinian. Currently in Japan, but I was living on the island of Tinian. Population like 3,000 people, and there were only 2 vegans, myself and a cousin, and we both happened to be fruitarian. And it got to the point where, like, yeah, it's cool. You know, I love my cousin very much. His name is Lance. He's the one who gave me the idea of fruitarianism. And at that time, I was like everybody else. Like, no, you know, what about the carbs, the sugar? You know, I want a keto diet. I don't want that sugar. But now that I've done it, it's like, oh, okay. It's something that you have to experience, and people have that fear, and so they don't want to go into that experience, because when they hear that fruitarian diet, right, first thing a lot of people do, Google it, and then, hey, look, it says it's got deficiencies, it's not a good diet, and all these articles, the first 5 articles on Google will probably tell you probably not to do it, right? And so that right there, you know,
yeah, finance. It's interesting to see who they're financed by, these articles, these scientific articles.
Yeah. It could be financed by Big Dairy, you know, Coca-Cola. It could be Big Pharma who's financing this. It could be the vaccine companies who's financing, you know.
That's right.
Bill Gates and the Melinda Foundation working with the Rockefeller Foundations, putting money into the World Health Organization, and they do a simulation or a seminar in 2019.
They can prove anything. They can prove anything they want to with the right amount of money.
And then people like us will be like, hey, they're the authority. They're giving us the information. They're probably correct. Why would I listen to you, fruitarian? You know what I mean? Who are you? Do you have a degree? Are you a doctor? Like, no, I'm speaking out of experience. But then this is where, you know, it's going to be a battle. If anybody have seen the 1988 movie They Live, are you familiar? It's a movie. It's a spoiler. It's a movie where this dude puts on these sunglasses, and starts seeing the truth, like the truth in media. They start he starts seeing the truth, and he's trying to get people to wear these glasses so they could see the truth too. And that's how I feel at first with the fruits.
Also,
like,
hey,
you gotta eat this fruit.
Matrix.
Yes.
Like you suddenly begin to see, you open your eyes and you really see what's going on. So
it really helps when you understand that, because now you feel like this is a simulation, kind of like the Truman Show with Jim Carrey, True Man Show, Jim Carrey, and you're the main character of this simulation. So live life like you're the main character, and enjoy it. Don't hide in fear. You're the main character. This is your show, you know. Enjoy your life. And then I feel like if this was a simulation, own this simulation. Enjoy life like you own this. Own it.
I want you to speak. You started to say before that you had this fruitarian experience. You know, these experiences that we're all, and you also spoke about brain clarity and awareness, and it's fascinating. You can't explain it to somebody who hasn't. So could you please talk about it? You know, all this the fact awareness. And
I want to say maybe there's like when you eat these processed food, there's a lot of toxins built up in your head, and it's stopping you from entering a certain level of consciousness or level of thinking, that as you start eating these fruits, it starts clearing up. And then because of the benefits, it just opens your mind to like, hey, I want to learn more, I want to research more. And as you research more, you start to realize, like we were talking about, the system is that it might be out there to just keep us limited, and science is not perfect and it can be corrupted. And so I start looking into right, what ancient texts are saying, and you start practicing these methods like sun gazing and grounding. Grounding is where you have your barefoot and you have your feet to the ground, and you're exchanging energy. I don't even know how to explain it. It gives you this exchanging energy, and you're having like this download. Also meditating, it really changes your mind frame. Also the fasting really changes your mind, how your brain thinks, right? It's you're still the same person, but how your perception of things starts to change. And as I continue fasting, I started off with like 16 hours, then I did 24. The first time I did a 24-hour fast, that felt like forever, right? Anybody fasted for 24 hours? That first time you done it, that felt like forever. But as you get used to it, I started going at 36, and then it got to the point where 24 hours didn't feel like a fast. I got to go like 96 to feel the ketosis, where you're full of energy, and I don't know where this energy is coming from. And then that's where I started. I didn't know about fruitarianism at that time, but you enter this zone. You enter the zone where, oh, food is not even an option. You don't even think about cravings, doesn't even hit you, and you're getting all this energy, and you don't know where this energy is coming from. And then that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's we're breathing that prana, and we're now that our body is all cleared out, and now the system is back on. It's like you clean the engine of the car, and now it's running like 100% again. Maybe we were not running at 100% since we're young kids. We're drinking cow milk. Our parents are giving us cow milk. We're eating hot dogs, and we're all just clogging up your engine. And now it's clean, and you enter the zone. And once you enter the zone, the thought of eating unnecessary no longer is there. And you start to realize, oh, this is unnecessary. We're just doing it for, like, it's like a drug. It's like a dopamine release whenever you eat your comfort food, right? And people associate it with fun. And I know culturally, yeah, like Italian families, my Japanese friends and family, we all get together, we drink, we eat. It's like a social thing. And I think that's what makes it even more difficult for us, right? But then we have to fight through that and be the example. And hopefully your family, my family is starting to accept now. They're the one, they buy me these fruits, avocado, and it's like, all these things. And they're more accepting now that they see results. So those who are starting, those who are getting like people saying no, and just try to fight through, show them results, and be that example, and maybe they'll change their mind. Maybe they'll start even thinking about it themselves. Maybe they'll start thinking about changing. My mother now, she eats a lot of citrus in the morning, and I try to buy her lots of fruits as well. But in the beginning, I was pushing her. Mom, you're eating all these fake sugars. You're eating all this, all that. And she's like, hey, I'd rather die eating what I like than. And it's like, oh man. And then I hit her with the guilt, like, hey, maybe if you live longer, you have more time to spend with your grandkids. You have more time to spend with your family. Your grandkids can learn Japanese from you. It's selfish. I feel like ultimately it's selfish when we're like, hey, this is my life. I'm going to eat this Twix, and I'm going to die, or I'm going to drink this beer and die early if I want to. It's selfish if you're a parent, because now you lessen the time you get to spend with your kids. Now you lessen the time you get to teach your kids, be an example for your kids. And myself, I do not have any kids. And right? So it's like, all right, why do you need to live long? It's like, if I live long and I have like this knowledge that I could share, the longer I live, the more time I get to share this knowledge with people. Not saying that this knowledge, that what I'm doing right now is 100% truth. I ultimately can't guarantee that for everybody, but this is how I feel. Like, hey, I think this is it. Out of all the diets I've done, this makes me feel the best. And I'm sorry, I'm just going I'm all over the place. And if I miss any of the
I understand. Food is something. There's something cultural, social, religious about it. It's about family gatherings. It's about when you're celebrating something. It's always about food. So it's sort of, it's not about nutrition anymore. It's got cultural, religious, I don't know, social, other connotations. But it's just, we have to, we have to realize it's about nutrition. So that's why it's lost its, I don't know, its meaning. And if you mentioned it before, actually, what even our ancestors, when they started hunting and cooking, they strayed from the right path. Not to mention the agricultural revolution, when they started growing all kinds of things and making bread and milk and cheese and using animals and meat and everything. Just so actually we should be looking at the big apes, primates, what they eat is just fruit and leaves. So actually we should get back there. It's to think about it. That's what we are programmed for, and anything else is just toxins and blocks. And so actually, I mean, we're detoxing because we started at a bad point. Our parents, they're not aware that the whole, now I think about it, the way we were raised, the way my parents, everyone's parents, and kindergarten and everything is, nobody's aware. And you eat all this, just like you mentioned, sweets and cakes and pizzas and chocolates, and you drink this coffee, and that's how they raise you. So you're just going back to your origins. It's funny, you're starting. So
a lot of people ask if you lose muscle, right? And then one of the good things you could just say, like, hey, you look at gorillas, they're just eating a vegan diet. Do they look like they lost any muscle? I mean, maybe they lose muscle.
Maybe they don't have B12. Yeah, they're so strong, and they jump on trees.
Do they eat steak? They don't eat.
Protein. Maybe they don't have enough protein. Yeah, it's funny. Look at these gorillas, and what do they eat all day long? Just leaves.
Do you like bulls? Do you see bulls eating pizza pockets? No, they're eating grass, and they have a lot of muscle. You lose muscle when you're less active. Yeah, elephants. Yeah, like can you beat up like not a lot of animals can beat up the elephant. Yeah, they're really strong.
It's because they're huge.
They're huge.
They eat the diet.
Can I add something? It's very interesting. This pizza family, these are just industries that want money. There are people who are in business, and I think this is just like the entire thing, because even the issues of medicine, the issue of depending on medicine, they have put us in in a place where, in a position where you don't think for yourself. Somebody has to think for you and decide for you, and then charge you together. Yeah, exactly. So I think because if you're bringing the animal family, it is very true. Even with the ambulances, actually hospitals, they don't have hospitals. Nobody takes them to emergency rooms. If they are hurt, they have just to stop eating. They have just to stop taking water until they recover. That's when they'll come back to the normal life. So we were separated from that natural way of living by can I call it capitalism or what? A selfish way of living, where somebody has to be gaining from you. The person has to be gaining your existence. We have to get tax from you. We also have to get other things. If you are sick, we have to get money from you to treat you. So many things. Sometimes we realize that even movement sometimes is unnecessary. Walk from where we don't need sometimes those movements. And we check carefully where we go. They're just social places where we are going to get into more destructive things like partying. They're getting into beer parties, those eating things, festivals. They're just eating and eating animals. So from what you're talking, I'm just seeing that we humans, we lost the track. And it's something that has been done actually there are centuries, thousands of years over time. But we can retract. We can retract and go back to the right path. The other thing that I really wanted to get clarification of, because there's a relationship with dry fasting and fruitarian diet or lifestyle. When we are doing dry fast, we know that dry fast helps us, especially on the healing part, where you have a problem, you have a disease, you have a what. The dry fast helps so much that the healing process, and to allow the healing process, because actually the body that heals. We just give it time to heal. When we stop eating and taking water, the body itself is a pharmacy. It has medicine in itself. It has every kind of a thing that can bring the healing. So we only need to give it time. But then after the dry fast, we are insisting on living on clean food. And number one is this raw. We're talking about raw. If you want to maintain your health that you have now gotten hard on, you've worked so hard to get, you need to get into what? Into raw food. And that's the reason why we are relating this fruitarian lifestyle and dry fast. But from what from your experience, when you go for, at the time you're stopping the fast, I think the long fast that you have gone, by the way, I didn't ask you this, did you do the dry fast or you do water fast? Which one do you do when you're fasting, Alan?
It depends. I've done long dry fast. I've done dry fast for days, and I've done water fast for days. But I think the easier one will be water fasting, and you could go a little longer. But even with water fasting, I try not to drink too much water, because too much water will deplete your electrolytes.
Yeah, you talked about that. You have talked about that. So right. You find that it's during the dry fast, what do you feel that makes you now stop the fast? Because I think that is a point where you listen to your body, and your body will kind of like tell you, I want, like, I think I need water now. And when I was doing my long dry fast, I remember I closed my eyes to go to sleep. And then the first thing I dreamt about was drinking water. And it was just, I was like, maybe I should go drink water. I want to drink water. Yeah. Very common with the dry fast. Very common. That dreaming of water. You always find yourself dreaming.
But at that time, I wasn't doing fruitarian when I was doing dry fast. I was more of a whole food. I was doing a whole food diet when I was doing that dry fast. But now when you dry fast and do a fruitarian diet, the good thing is that there's structured water in the fruits, and your body takes less processing time to take that water in, as opposed to let's say you drink water out of plastic. I don't know if it's true, but maybe there's BPA in the plastic. We don't even know what's really in the water, and it's been in the plastic for and sometimes you can't trust these water, right? You trust nature's water, or trust the water that your body makes by breaking down the fat.
Can I say something about that?
It's called distilled water. There's a difference between the water in the bottles and in fruits and vegetables. That's distilled water. That's
okay.
Yeah, it's so true, by the way, because when I'm dry fasting, I never experience dry mouth. I'm never thirsty also. And I think it's because of the fruitarian lifestyle I live.
Yes.
My dry fasts are, I never experience thirst or dry mouth. Never.
Let me ask you, how long have you gone the longest of your dry fast? How long? How long?
7 days of hot dry, 7 days.
Yeah. At the point of breaking, at the time you are breaking, what motivates you, or what did you also listen to your body, or is just your target? You met your target. Maybe you wanted to go that far, and then you reached, and then you stopped. Or what now makes you to break the fast?
Yeah, with me, my issue lies more with my hormonal system and my adrenals. So with me, it's more fatigue. My energy gets really low.
Okay.
Yeah, and so for me, it's like, and it's also just in my head. I always calculate like the amount of days I want to go. And so I already calculated upfront that I want to go for 7 days, and then I just keep, you know, doing 7 days. But I'm trying, but you know, with me, it's more, I'm more of a, I've always been more intuitive, more a feeler, and don't think too much, you know, about the amount of days. And so I would rather like follow more natural flow. So if I feel the next time, you know, I want to go maybe a day longer, then I will just go a day longer, but I will just listen to my body, just feel. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm asking this because I feel like if you are in a fruitarian type of the lifestyle or diet, it's like a shorter day dry fast will work miracles for you. That's how I'm feeling.
Yes, that's exactly what I've noticed too, because the last time, because I normally do really long ones, like a week. The last time I did 4 days, I got the in 4 days, I got the exact results I usually get in 7 days.
The long ones.
And I even, in those 4 days, I even lost the weight I normally lose in 7 days. So my body was quicker in detoxing and the process. Yeah.
Because you're already clean. You're already clean. You don't need very long time.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing, are you working on your, are you fasting sometimes because of maybe health issues? You want to heal something, or you're just, what reason motivates you on fast? Or is it because of maybe spiritual reasons, or what?
Oh, it was a gradual thing. I just grew into it. And it was for me back in the days, I would always feel like tired, headache, heavy periods. Later on, I got like tumors in my womb. You know, so all these things, you know, got me into like watching my diet and like detoxing. Yeah. So it's for health issues. Yeah.
Health issues, though, and more of a lifestyle. It's just
and it grew into a lifestyle, and now it's like just a lifestyle. Yeah.
And now at this particular point, do you have health issues, or you are totally okay? Do you have any health issue at this particular time?
The only thing that I'm still kind of like working on is like my hormonal issues. But it's like really most of the things I got already cleared
or done.
Yeah, most of the things I mean, I got my energy back. I never have headaches anymore, never. Also not in dry fasting or anything, never headaches or
those withdrawal symptoms when you're in a fast that brings the headache, not there. No. If you get to the fast, you get problems with, I don't know, one side aching, sleeping problem, insomnia. Do you have
sleeping? I have sleeping. Yeah. Sometimes I cannot sleep.
Like totally when you're in a dry fast, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cannot sleep at all. Yeah. And some days I can, you know, but yeah.
But that's our dry fast. Yeah. It happens in the dry fast though. If you do a little more of activity, don't ever do physical activity, workouts when you're in a dry fast, but you try and you find that you become a little tired, and that will bring more sleep. So that is the trick. Yeah, that's the trick.
Yeah, exactly.
You become active. Yeah, you become active. Yeah. So thank you so much. I'm really drawing things from you. It was Alan's meeting, but we have also learned something from you. Alan, I don't know. Do you have any reaction to this? Maybe I want to ask something else.
Sure. I wanted to talk about when you were saying, yeah, we're told what to think, and a lot, it's become to the point where, a lot of us, we don't want to do anymore. We don't want to put time. We don't have the time anymore. We're working 9 to 5. We're busy. We have kids. We got to do this. We got to pay bills. Now, instead of researching and looking into things, people want to be like, hey, you give me the information. Let me watch CNN. They'll give me the information. They'll tell me how to think. The doctors will tell me what to think. I don't want to read into legal things, so I hire a lawyer, right? We want other people to think for us, and we pay other people to think for us. And that became like what you were saying, like capitalism, where they're making money off of thinking for them. And I think it's like evilly genius system that this world we live in. We're evil genius, but evil. Very, very evil. And what Shireen was saying earlier, where when she's dry fasting and eating fruits, and because fruits really hydrate you to another level, that she doesn't feel any dry mouth. I totally agree. Usually when I come to Japan, and Japan gets really dried compared to where I used to live. I lived on a tropical island. When I come to Japan, or when I go to the United States, like Texas, I get really chapped lips. I get really dry lips, and it hurts. But this year, or this 1 year since I've been a fruitarian, never have I had to put on lip. I almost said lip gloss. I hope I never put on lip gloss, but lip balm, yes. And it's hydrating to another level. That's why I was able to like go 2 months. I've never felt thirsty, and I was able to go months without water. And then finally it's like, maybe I should drink water. And I did a YouTube, Facebook live, and I felt like a lot of people came and watched me just to drink water. And I was like, oh wow, this is great. And then I want to go back to oh man, I can't remember her name. She had a really interesting name, but from Holland.
From Israel, the lady from Israel, Abramom is there. She's Abramom is
she was talking about, it became a society's norm to eat together, right? And then
cultural, religious thing, eating.
It became, and then
social.
as foods evolve, we start adding these. I bet those cultural traditions were a lot more healthier back in the day, but as the foods evolve, right, more processed, and then that starts getting into diet, and we start degrading our health, and I'm gonna quote something. It's not really a quote, but from what I understand in the Bible, it's talking about the fruit diet was our original diet, but after the flood, God was like, hey, you see these animals there? You see the animals in the ocean? You may use them as food. And I'm thinking, because of the huge flood, there was probably not a lot of trees left, right? Probably not a lot of fruits left. So God is like, hey, I think it was chapter 11 or something. Hey, these are animals that these animals you can use as food. And I think that from there, people start evolving tools to kill this animal, start eating these animals. And I think it was Genesis chapter 6 verse 3. I could be wrong. It's talking about God lowered the life expectancy of man to 120 years. And I think it's because if man lives like Noah, like 600 plus years, then we'll probably wipe out the animals around. We're just eating these animals. But when it says in chapter 6 verse 3, the life expectancy for man has decreased to 120 years. And I was curious. I googled longest living man recorded, the average. And according to Wikipedia, I know how Wikipedia, I don't know if this information is 100%, but when I look at the list of oldest living men that lived recorded, the average was like 117, 116, very close to 120, what the Bible says. And I was like, oh wow, it's somewhat accurate. And then I looked into this Indian religion called Jainism, where they eat a lot of vegetables and fruits, and they try not to harm animals or even bacteria. They don't even eat root vegetables because they hurt life. And they're talking about the same thing. Like right now, people of this epoch or this era or this generation lives up to 120 years, but people way before was living a lot longer. And it's just like, oh wow, there's similar information. It's like, wow, there must be something to this. And I feel like, I'm not saying the Bible is right, the flood destroyed a lot of things and all that, but there could have been something that really affected the land, and there was a famine, no fruits, and men started developing ways to capture food or eat other things other than fruits. And I think that I think that's what kind of helped us evolve, right? Making it where like men using tools. I ultimately don't know. All this could be just some weird simulation I'm living in. I mean, everybody could be bots for all I know, but this is how I feel. This is how I feel ultimately. And remember how, oh man, I'm very, very bad with names, but yeah, you were talking about parents, right? They don't know when they're feeding us, right? But you imagine if we eat something bad, like we drink a lot of alcohol is poisonous, right? And we want to throw up.
Let me just interrupt a little, because I know if you go, you may go and we leave this point very key. There are some things that you talked about and they were very key, like this thing of going to the bowel movement. By the way, I did ask you this. I prepared to ask you this. How do you get the peeing and the bowel movement?
Oh, bowel movement is almost every day. If I eat a lot of fruits, sometimes I get bowel movement within like an hour. And the more juicy fruits I eat, the more I urinate. And you start to notice which fruits hydrate you and which fruits don't really hydrate you. Bananas and avocados, they don't really hydrate you. And so I try to, right now I'm trying to avoid them, but I got these bananas as gifts. I got these avocados as gifts. I'm eating them. And, but not right now because I'm fasting.
So maybe if a person who is starting interested, like me, I like avocados, but you have really given me some good idea. We limit the take, maybe very little of it.
Yeah, just a little bit. And yeah, if those whose goals are to detox as quick as possible, I suggest to not eat too much banana. Don't eat bananas or avocados at all. And if you do want to eat bananas or avocados, I suggest you do not mix them. Like, this is not an acidic fruit. This is an acidic fruit. Don't eat them together. Eat them separately.
Banana and what? Don't mix banana and this?
Don't mix bananas with like acidic fruits. These are citrus. So if you're gonna eat.
Thank you. Okay. There's something else, because I'm now thinking that we are running, our time is like people are getting tired, but I think this thing is going to be very important for us to answer. When you are in a dry fast, there's always a problem with the coldness. You find that sometimes you get cold in your feet, you get cold getting into your hand, because there's totally no digestion taking place. So the production of energy is very down. It's breaking down. The metabolism is low, or it's totally zero, nil. So it has to be, it works the other way. We know that dry fast helps in the cell works from within, and then it has the metabolism within the cell, and then it's breaking down from the cell, and the fats are broken. But in your digestive tract, there's totally nothing happening. So this thing brings cold. I know I really need to relate that with the fruit lifestyle, where you are not taking anything warm. Both fruits are not, you are not taking any cooked food. So there's nothing warm you're getting into it. Do you get these issues of cold or anything, or you're just normal human being like any other? Yeah.
I was wondering about that this winter. This is my first winter as a fruitarian, and I was wondering, like, how do fruitarians survive in temperate countries like Japan? And this goes back to eating what's seasonal. And I don't know if anybody squeezed a bunch of orange juice squeeze a bunch of orange and drink the juice and sweat. And I don't know if anybody experienced that, but I noticed a lot of citrus keeps you warm. And so, and it blows, that's where it blows my mind again. Citrus is what's in season in wintertime here. And it's got a long shelf life. So when we hibernate in our house, we have a long shelf life citrus that keeps us warm and gives us that electricity, that energy.
Yeah, and also it's your thyroid, Your thyroid takes care of your like body temperature. Whoa. And the more you detox, your thyroid, your body actually, I never experienced, even though eating fruits in the winter, my body temperature is still balanced. So I never feel cold or anything. But in the beginning, I used to get cold. And then I would use you can use warm water even, like warm up water or like herbal teas. I still do use herbal teas sometimes or ginger, something. But later on, when your thyroid is like balanced out, your thyroid will keep your body balanced no matter what temperature, and you can keep eating fruits. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's just good. Then, Alan, you quote something in the Bible. You just did very well. It's in the Genesis 6:3. And I really wanted to ask this on because at the time God gives man permission to take animals, there is a restriction, and there is a way to do it. I think the Israeli called them kosher food. I think Abraham is this. Yeah, she can tell us about this. Kosher food. There are some foods that are ranked as kosher, others are not supposed to be taken. Abraham, maybe you can clear on that one.
I believe it was in Leviticus. I think that's what it's called, the book of Leviticus.
Yes.
It talks about when you're eating fish, do not eat fish without scales. So do not eat shellfish, do not eat bottom feeders or something like that. I don't remember exactly, and then when you're eating mammals, eat the animals with split hooves, but equal. So I think it's like goats and lambs. That's in that's written in Leviticus. And I still don't know why, and I'm still trying to learn why this animals, why that. Was it made specifically, or was it bred specifically for men to be eating at that time? But then you can't really breed. Well, God can obviously breed the fish that we should eat, right? And Jesus was giving fish and bread to everybody. So I don't. Right there, I don't know. I just know it's written in Leviticus talking about, yes, if you were to eat
clean
fish,
and unclean. Yeah, it's about talk about clean animals that are unclean. Exactly.
Right. No camels, I believe no pigs. Exactly. I don't remember exactly what chapter, what verse, but if anybody's interested, please look into Leviticus. Or just type in Leviticus diet portion. I'll tell you what the limits are. And to me, I'm a fruitarian, so I didn't really look deep into that too much because I don't eat fish, or I'll just put this aside right now. I'm still trying to figure out what the Bible talks about in the food diet, or what other. So eventually I'll get into there, and I'll come back to you if I figure out or if I think I know the answer. But it's in Leviticus. It is in Leviticus.
Okay. Maybe if somebody else wants to add something on that, but if there is nothing more,
can I say something? You started.
It's really what I really need to talk, please. Because the issues, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well. Kosher. Can you tell us something about kosher food?
Kosher. Yeah, it's according to the Jewish kosher. That's according to the Jewish tradition. Some meats are not considered not kosher. You're not allowed to eat pig. Only cows and goats and sheep and chickens and ducks and fish, but not seafood. Seafood you're not allowed. Yeah, I don't understand what's the logic behind it, because it's meat at the end of the day. So I don't understand what should be the difference between ham and beef.
Right. I feel ultimately they're they're both life, and I don't want to treat them like, hey, I'll eat beef, but I won't eat ham. I want to treat them equally and leave them be.
They're both hard to digest in terms of digestion. it's beef, it's ham. It's not like chicken is easier to digest, and fish are the easiest. But I don't know. So it's got to do with the hoof, but I don't.
If you ever do find out, please let me know.
Yeah,
I don't think they're not good. I mean, a vegetarian lifestyle, a fruitarian lifestyle is much better, of course, than eating meat and meat products, also dairy products. It's
dairy.
not good.
So the original, we just go back to the original, the first one, Genesis chapter 1, when Adam and Eve are given fruits as their meat and flesh. I think that's where we are going. All of us, that is where we find that it is the.
We got, and you started speaking about toxins. It's not just physical. You started saying something about our parents. It's not just physical toxins, what we're eating. It's also emotional toxins. It's all, I don't know, everything is so, the way we were raised, and our parents didn't do it out of bad intentions. They're really ignorant. You know, now I see it. The way they raised us, what they gave us to eat, how they treated us, all these emotional toxins.
They underestimate how much trauma, like a negative word, can give to a child, right? And there's ignorance play a big part, and I think part of our journey is to forgive. I understand they didn't know. They were told by mainstream media, feed this to your kid, right? When you eat something poisonous, you want to throw up, and you see babies throwing up the milk that the parents give them, right? And why are they throwing it up? Why is it coming out their nose? Like, their body's not accepting it, right? Like, we didn't really look into that. But yeah,
I remember I didn't like my mother's food, and she was forcing me to eat, you know, because she believed, I understand how she believed it was for my own good. But I remember, and kids don't want to eat, and their parents are forcing them to eat because it's healthy. And you know, what was she forcing me to eat? Meat. Because it's healthy, because you need the protein. And I remember she would make every Saturday this cake. The cake was tasty, but now I understand. I mean, it was sugar, it was all kinds of chemicals. You know, that's the food that I ate. Not to mention, yes, the emotional detox, the intoxication, the emotional all the way they treated kids, you know, impatience and not love, not warmth. Just eat. That's the most important thing. And you know, eat meat, and that's and dairy products, of course. It's very healthy, and it's all distorted the way they raised us emotionally and in terms of nutrition. So all your life is just, you know, you did detoxing and healing.
All these negative things coming at you, and you just trying to detox it off. And it's like, by parents, their parents are probably treated them the same way, and they probably think it's normal, and they treated us the same way. But
inheritance. It is something that came from generation, another generation took it from there. There's nobody who had to come and the way we have now done. Hey, stop! Something is not in order here. Because, by the way, something is not in order with all these medicines we have in the worldwide. We still have too many people dying of cancer. Have you gotten the statistics of the cancer, people dying of cancer in this world?
The more medication you have, the more people die. The more people are sick. The bigger the hospitals are, the more doctors you have, the more technology you have, more people are sick and more people are dying. And psychiatric cases, and it's just all distorted. They're in the wrong direction.
So we have just to bring it strong and bold. Something is wrong, and we have an answer, because we are talking the truth. One time here, we had the person who, can I call her name? He did 14-day dry fast, and breast cancer disappeared. gone, never come, never resurfaced again. So we have a solution. We have got something that everybody. This is a message that has to go to the ends of the world, everywhere. There's something new. There's something that is a solution to this thing, and it's cheap. It's actually not cheap even. It's costly. There's no cost at all.
That's right. Everything is about business. Everything is about money. So it serves nobody's interest. So that's why they're hiding it away from us. They want us to keep buying all these foods and all these medications. They don't want us to know the truth because it doesn't pay. They want us hooked to them. They want us dependent on them. They want us. It's a market. It's a market. They need
money.
Products. It's all about business.
Exactly. Now, Alan.
Yes.
Maybe about your spiritual walk. How do you get? Do you connect this your lifestyle and your spiritual walk? Do you have things like you say maybe dreams? Maybe get to us connection between how you live your lifestyle and your spiritual life.
It's hard to explain. It just gradually enter that level, and you gradually like want to walk that path as you continue. And like I said, as I stop paying, stop believing, putting my 100% into science, and start looking into spiritual texts like the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita, you start, or at least I have through my experience, I just start going that way. And when you start to understand like what's going on in the world, you staying mad doesn't really make you go anywhere. Just the wanting to forgive just brings you to another level. And I feel like a lot of these, there's methods that will help you take it there, and fasting is one of them. Meditation. I started getting into yoga, but the reason why I went to get into yoga is because I wanted to be in a posture, the lotus posture, just so I could meditate. And getting a lot of sun, getting a lot of fresh air, and appreciating nature, and then you just connecting with nature makes you realize that we might be going a wrong, incorrect path, and so that's how it. I don't know how to explain. It's just like it just got me onto that path from being just an asshole atheist to and I think it all depends on everybody's journey. I think everything, all the bad things that happened to me, my parents giving me this negative energy, affecting me, giving me trauma, all this being obese, giving me trauma from all this toxins coming, whether it be physical toxins or mental toxins, for toxins from different realms. It's a journey. If you accept that you've been affected and you accept that you want to heal and you want to go that path of healing, then I feel like it eventually brings you to, hey, if you heal yourself spiritually, a lot of the physical healing and the mental healing will come along as well. And also earlier, oh man, I keep forgetting her name. I'm very sorry, but you're talking about with kids when they're eating, they don't want to eat steak, right? You ever see kids like try to eat steak, or in Japan we eat a lot of raw meat. The kids don't want to eat it, so the big food industry, they come up with something great, right? They come up with chicken nuggets, they come up with sausages, meats that kids like, hey, this tastes great, I want more, and then they get addicted, and then they get set up to having a lot of diseases. And it's genius. It's genius. In the 90s, I grew up as a kid in the 90s, and almost every kid for breakfast was eating pancakes, sugary cereal, and milk, and that was like this.
And also with all the toys, huh? Also with all the toys they give them with the Happy Meals.
It comes with toys, and kids want that, right? And then Mom, buy me this, and a lot of times we don't even eat the cereal, we just get we get the toy. But that's That's how they're great at marketing. The big food industry, they're like evil genius. They're Dr. Evil. They're super genius. And it's like they've been doing this for years and years and years, controlling us, knowing how our mind thinks, knowing what type of propaganda to give out, knowing what kind of news to give out, right? In 2016, the Nobel Prize for Medicine was awarded to a Japanese scientist who figured out that fasting causes autophagy, and autophagy helps heal your cells and your body. But does the news talk about it like they talk about the coronavirus? No, because the news channels are probably sponsored by Taco Bell and KFC and Mountain Dew. And if you talk about that, then my sponsors won't make any money. You know, what if I own a TV station and I have a lot of stock on Winchell's and McDonald's, and if I had this guy talk about fasting is good for you, it heals cancer, it heals diabetes, and then all my stock would drop, all my sponsors will be pissed off. You know, I can't give out that information. But coronavirus, everybody be scared of the coronavirus. Today 3 people died in this city. They don't talk about 30 people died from diabetes, 30 people died from heart disease. They talk about 3 people died from the coronavirus.
Scare people. Create fear. Creating fear.
It's like, oh no, I better wear 2 masks. You know, I better listen to what the World Health Organization is telling me.
Yeah, and take the vaccines, of course.
Oh yeah, vaccines. Give me 3 of those. You know, it's
for the rest of your life. It's for the rest of your life.
Oh my God. Then it's like,
can I say something?
Can
I say something?
Vaccine. Oh, I apologize. This just fires me up. Please.
They use fear to create what they want in people. Actually, to control the masses, you must put some fear in them.
Panic.
If you want to control, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fear is a very big motivator.
Alan, I want to take your attention to something else. How about your behavior? Because they say what you are, what you eat. A human being eats what the person eats. And this is where you find people getting sick because of what they have been eating the wrong foods. But there's also the emotional issues where you just find people who are so high on sugar, they get this outburst of wrath. They can be very angry very easily. They can slap people. You get that. So how about it? Are you a gentleman? Are you humble? Are you down on us? Or are you a person? Have you seen any change in your behavior or in personality, your personal traits? Exactly.
This will continue, kind of like continuation what I was talking about earlier, going to the spiritual path. When you're eating all these processed food, this is just my assessment. When you're eating all these processed food, right, it controls, it builds up bacteria in your gut that wants processed food. And from what I understand, your gut is like your second brain, and it controls hormones, right? And then you're eating all these processed foods that it's not natural. We shouldn't even be eating, and our hormones are all this and all that. And then one day I'm happy, one day I'm sad. One day my girlfriend she's so happy and lovey-dovey. Next day she hates my ass. She wants me out of the. She don't even sleep on the couch. Her cat sleeps on the couch. You sleep outside. Type deal. I feel like ultimately, the hormones is what's affecting us, and I feel like the foods that we're eating affects our hormones. It's not just. And the sickness, diseases, maybe, 100%, it's probably not coming from the diets. It's also coming from emotion and all these stress that's coming in, and we hold it in, right? And it becomes a tumor, it becomes a cancer. Our hate, my brother, stabbed my back a long time ago. I have not forgotten it. I forgive him for that. Never. My mother forced feed me milk. I'll never forget that. And it just builds up and builds up. And I feel like if that becomes cancer, becomes disease, that becomes hate. And part of my journey is to try to forgive everything and live free. And my only hope is that whoever I did wrong, all the people that I did wrong, that they forgive me too. I don't know how many people I did wrong. And I feel like I can't just apologize to every single one that I meet. I feel like ultimately, yes, the hormones and your gut bacteria also helps your mood and emotions. So I'm thinking that plays in hormones. So if you're eating the
It affects
crappiest
your
foods,
brain. It affects your brain. It affects your mood. It affects your way of thinking, awareness, everything, intuition, affects everything. You know, it's just
Definitely.
about food, but then everything changes. Your brain,
Definitely.
when your brain detoxes, a lot of channels open up, and it affects you, the way you feel. You're not stressed. You're not panicked, anxious, depression. It's all, yeah, it affects everything. It's amazing. You know,
Right.
you think it's just about food, but actually it affects all your being. So,
Yes.
so basically, what are you eating today? Like, what is
Today, today I'm thinking I'm gonna fast for the rest of the day. I might fast. I'm in this. I just got invited to this Facebook group where they're starting their 7-day fast tonight, March 20th, spring equinox. So they want to fast for 7 days, and so I'm gonna try it out with them. But usually, I could eat a lot. I don't really count. I just keep eating within an 8 to 10 hour window until I'm full or satisfied. So I could probably eat like 12 avocados, like like 5 bananas, eat a bunch of citruses until I'm full, and then I maybe wait an hour or two before you go. I suggest you wait an hour or two before you go to sleep. Sometimes I'm like a pig. I just eat a lunch and then I lay down like and then I go to sleep. But I suggest, yeah, let your body work on it a little bit, and then and I hear when you fast, your dreams are a lot more lucid, and they are. And from what I hear, it's because when you fast, DMT is released more, and then this chemical from your pineal gland or even from your lungs. DMT is released from your lungs apparently, and so imagine breathing like Fruitarians. It's important to feel that way, feel that state of consciousness, right? Because your lungs are working. Dimethyltryptamines coming from your lungs. Dimethyltryptamines coming from your brain. And like you said, when we fast and when we detox, all these channels open up, and now the whole engine is clean, and now we're running cleanly like we should, like our potential, right?
So,
And
what is it? Could you speak about the DMT? What exactly is it?
DMT, dimethyltryptamine, from what I understand, is this chemical that comes out of your brain, usually when you're about to die, and then it causes, it's like a psychedelic. It causes the hallucination. I'm just saying hallucination quote, where we go through that white light effect. We see our life go past us. We enter a different realm. We see the life after death, and apparently shamans in South America, they drink this ayahuasca, this tea, which has DMT in it, and then they enter different spiritual realms, and they talk to their ancestors, and they get their advice, and then they come back. So
Yeah, I was gonna say about that. Yeah, because I've experienced ayahuasca too, and it's like so DMT is like especially ayahuasca is like a medicine for your consciousness. It makes you more aware, and so it really helps with and I think when you're on a fruitarian lifestyle or even dry fasting, and stuff like that, and that creates the DMT, and that's why all of a sudden you get like really clear on where stuff is coming from, like you suddenly just get it. And so it's really great. I used it to work on emotional stuff and stuff I went through in my youth, and it's a really really good stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
Where did you say you get it from? You can get it naturally if you clean up and live a...
I believe so. I think ayahuasca and other herbs are there to help us get or experience that stage. But I think in the end, I think we shouldn't be dependent upon them, and try to because I think we can get it from a natural state.
Right.
I believe. Yeah.
I believe too that we can enter that DMT state from conscious breathing and meditating. And I think that's the best way is to do it naturally. Yeah. Ayahuasca and DMT in California, you could smoke. There's a crystallized form of DMT that you could. I'm sure it's everywhere, but that's like a shortcut, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to take shortcuts? Yeah, I mean, I do too. But I understand. Everybody wants to take
not to be addicted to drugs. That's
right.
Yeah, and that's also the difference between ayahuasca and like other stuff is more ayahuasca is like the whole herb. It's like herbal medicine. It's no drugs.
Yes.
It's like,
and it's not addictive.
It's completely natural. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not addictive.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to be experiencing that intense experience like every, like a crackhead every 20 minutes. I think that was
and you have to be, and that's why when you are going for ayahuasca and like spiritual journeys like that, you have to be really clear about where you're at when it comes to your ego. If you have a big ego, you can get yourself hurt, because you're gonna get too much information in one time. And a lot of people also gotten like crazy and like, in like stuck in their trip, and they it's too much, it can get overwhelming. Yeah.
bad trip.
Yeah.
I had that. So I mean, I'd like to know, if you can have it naturally done, at the right amount, not from drugs or from external, and to have this possibility to have this state of mind all the time, not just. I mean, you can reach this level. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm experiencing it myself, and I still know there's a way to. I still have where to get to. It's not. I'm still not.
I think also maybe because sometimes people that are aware like us, we want to move really fast. We want to get there. But I think also maybe spirit and the energy of the earth is like also like trying to keep a balance in there and trying to like hold us,
do it gradually.
So for the bigger picture, it's better for us to not be there yet. And so maybe when the energy is like higher up on earth and the time is there, I think it will happen naturally.
Yeah, I think we all know what we're talking about because we are experiencing these things. And when I talk to other people, I don't know what I'm talking about because they haven't been there. You have to experience it in order to understand it and really enjoy it.
That's the thing. The biggest thing is, I want people to experience it, but the system is right giving us fear of fasting, giving us fear of the fruitarianism. And great thing about ego, I wanted to talk about ego a little bit, but before I get into that, I want to finish what you were talking about, like what I eat in a day. And for those who are detoxing and for those who are doing it for detox and weight loss reasons, I think the best way is to juice your fruits using a masticating juicer, and it'll digest faster and it'll help you detox faster, just like a water fast, but with fruit juice. And when I juiced for about 19 days within my 376 days of this diet, and I get full with just 1 liter of juice, and that's all I eat, just once a day, just one liter cup of juice, and that was good. And I was still able to fast for a day or more and still do my workouts and activities. And the thing with the ego, if you can't let go, depending on where your ego's at, it might stop you from experiencing the other side. When you do DMT or these psychedelics, you might fight it. Like a good example is I've done a lot of psychedelics because I was experimenting with a lot of things throughout my life. Life is an experiment, and experiment and give the results to people, please, so they don't have to go through some bad stuff. But I've done salvia extract when I was living in California, and what it did was it closed. I smoked it, and this world started closing, and I started watching my existence disappear, and I associated with death. And so I had, at that time, I had so many attachments to this world. Like I have this, I had to do that. I still have this left over. I still got to be rich and travel. All these attachments made me fight it. Like, I don't want to die. And I panicked, right? That's where my ego came in. Last year, March 1st, like 8 days before I went fruitarian, March 1st, I found this boat near my house at a beach, and it was like an abandoned boat. It looked good, and I was living a reckless life. My buddy was at another beach inviting me to a barbecue, so I'm like, you know what? I'll take this boat, and I'll go to the other beach, and I'll meet him there. I broke some pallets, and I made a makeshift oar, a paddle, and I got on this boat. I didn't even check if this boat has holes in it, right? That's how reckless I am. I'm still reckless a little bit, but as you start being positive and start believing in this universe and then a higher being, a lot of good things manifest that you ask for, and that's really mind-blowing. But anyway, I took this boat out, and I was paddling out to this other beach, and it was going good for a while. And then the wind started picking up, and then the waves started getting stronger, and I was getting further and further and further and further away from shore. And it got to the point where, like, oh, I might not be able to swim back. This is pretty far. And no matter how hard I paddle, it wasn't going anywhere. It's just taking me further and further. And so, like, okay, I took a break. I put my paddle down, and I looked down at the boat, and I realized there's holes in the boat, and there's water coming. There's water coming into the boat. And right there, usually people will panic. If I panic, I'll probably jump off the boat and try to swim back and probably lost my life. But at that time, I think my ego was, at a state where it's not affecting me that much. Like, I've practiced Buddhism, or I tried to practice Buddhism and try to get rid of a lot of attachments in my 20s. And then last year, when I realized, oh, this is how I'm gonna die. And instead of panicking, I had like a little sense of humor. My father died at sea when I was 10 years old. And when I realized there's holes in the boat and that I can't paddle back to shore, I was like, so this is how I'm gonna die, just like my father, same fate. Who knew, right? And I'm looking down, just being calm. And I really accepted my death. Like, this today, I might die today. Oh well, I accept it. I look down, I look up, and there just happened to be a speedboat just passing by. It was already passing by, and I start waving my paddle, and thank goodness they turn around, came back, picked me up, took me to the beach. So quick shout out to Jesse Taitano from Saipan for saving my life. Jesse Taitano and family, thank you very much. If that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here right now. So I had that somewhat near-death experience, and I was pretty surprised that I didn't panic. And 1 week later, I woke up that morning and I started eating fruits, and 376 days later, and still just eating fruits and trying to level up and ascend one day and help others ascend. And that's my story about realizing where I was, where my level of ego was. As I got older and as I started learning, and then even though death was right at my face or close to my face, I did not panic, and I was pretty calm, and I was kind of joking about it, like, my father died at sea. This is how I'm gonna die too. How funny how this world works. But good thing I was saved, and now I'm here with you guys. Love you guys very much. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you very much, Alan. Thank you very much.
Just before,
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah.
Just 1 minute, please. Just 1
Very
minute.
much.
Alan said about grounding. It didn't come very clearly. Maybe grounding. We're talking about grounding.
Grounding. Apparently, a lot of us now, we wear rubber shoes, rubber slippers. That we are conductors. Imagine us like conductors, and everything is electricity, and rubber stops electric. It's not really a good conductor, and you can't pass electricity through it.
The circuit, yeah.
Right.
The flow.
So when you're barefoot, you're connected. You're connected to the nature. You're connected to the energy. You're connected to the earth, and you feel this as you practice. You start to feel the difference. You start to feel the energy, and you ground and you face your palms to the sunlight, and you receive the energy from the sun. Right? We receive vitamin D from the sun. What else are we receiving from the sun? Right? And when in the beginning, I don't suggest just looking at the sun in the middle of the day. Watch the sunset, watch the sunrise,
Right.
you know, and meditate. It makes you feel good. I don't think there's anybody in the world or any man in the world who watched the sunset and made them angry, like, oh, the sunset, I'm gonna go home and beat my wife up. Never. There's, right? Everybody, you feel good when you watch the sunset, right? Don't you feel better? Has anybody felt bad after watching a sunset? And I feel like there's the sun, God's son, is the son of God. It's giving us energy, right? And it's giving us vitamin D. What it's like, I think it also affects us with mood. And I think from what I heard, melatonin levels. So if we expose ourselves to the sun during the day, our circadian rhythm, our natural clock kind of balance itself, and it knows when to sleep at night and work during the day, and it balance itself. So if you're working like a graveyard shift where you work midnight to early in the morning and don't really get that sun, I feel like people get more sick that way. Like people don't, like, you know, they're not all 100. I feel like they can't be 100%. I'm not saying all of them can't be 100. Maybe there is a way, but I feel like ultimately, yeah, we have that connection with the sun as well, not just nature and trees. The sun gives us vitamin D, gives us energy. I mean, look at solar. Look at the solar panels. They get energy from the sun and convert it to electricity, right? We are all conductors. We're all energy balls. Imagine us as all thumb drive, getting all information, right? And we give out information. And grounding is one of the things that I've tried to do a lot when meditating.
So at the time you are barefoot, do you walk or you stand at a position and you stay there for maybe some minutes or some hours? Or because this is first, I'm hearing about grounding for the first time.
Yes, when I meditate, I stay in one place. But yeah, you can walk. You can walk and ground and get yourself used to it first by walking, right? We depend on shoes so much that the bottom of our feet became so weak and very sensitive. And I get, you know, I'm sure our ancestors naturally, the bottom of our feet is really, really strong. They can walk, you know,
like
right?
a sole. It was like a sole of a shoe. I think you have cleared it, and it must be a natural ground, not this cemented floors and this kind of. You have to be, yeah.
I suggest natural ground. I don't know about cement. I haven't really grounded myself to cement to see if there's really any different versus nature, but I do suggest nature. And I think ultimately, like, it's something that please test it out, and if anybody come out with results saying cement works too, then please let me know. And I think cement might work because it used to be like dirt, right? And it's not made out of rubber, it's not made out of plastic. It conducts electricity. I think I'm not too familiar. If anybody knows, anybody out there listening, if they know the answer, please butt in, let me know. I just suggest nature most of the time. I know if we live in like New York, we live in Tokyo, it might be hard to find a lot of nature that we can ground on. But if we do, yeah, you don't have to walk, just stand there, meditate, you know, breathe, be conscious of your breathing. I think that's one thing we underestimate. Like, yeah, we've been breathing all our lives, but I feel like we don't know, like, ultimately how to breathe in different methods. Like, if anybody heard of Wim Hof, he works his breathing and he can live and he can hang out in very cold areas without like any clothes on. Just controlling his breathing, control his body's temperature. And so, like, oh wow, breathing is very important. Breathing can affect your body in so many ways that we can't even imagine. Probably breathing can affect your brain, right? It helps release that DMT, and then you feel that great happiness. You feel that state of consciousness of peace and happiness.
Okay. And lastly, maybe on my side as we conclude, because everybody is saying bye-bye, I think I just have other things here. There are no supplements, no minerals, no, you only use raw fruits, because that has to come very clearly.
Yes. The very first thing that I was worrying about was vitamin B12. And I've looked through so many YouTube videos of people talking about vitamin B12. I looked through all these, what vegans say, what science is saying on Google. I looked through all, and one day it was just like, you know what? I put my trust in the higher being, and I'm gonna do it without supplements. And here I am, fine.
Wow.
I feel fine.
1 year later.
1 year later, still fine.
Healthier
no
than the way you
deficiency.
started.
Yeah, healthier than I was before. And
Wow.
I think the vitamins industry is one of those, is ultimately connected with big pharma. It's a corporation. It's making a lot of money off of people, right? And people want that magical pill that, oh, if I take this, I'll feel fine. It's a shortcut. People want shortcut, and so people want the pills that will help them feel better. You know, instead of working on their immune system, they want that shortcut. And so, right. And then we're like brainwashed that we need to take these multivitamins. We need to take these Flintstone vitamins when we're kids. Like, why don't you just feed us the food that will give us the nutrients? Why are we eating this unnatural foods? And your body is not used to processing these unnatural foods. It's designed to process natural foods. And so I feel like ultimately the multivitamins we're taking don't really have much effect. It's all placebo. Our mind is so powerful that we think that if this pill is gonna cure us, it might end up curing you, right? Because your brain is so powerful, thinking this vitamin is gonna, make a lot of difference. I believe it. Your mind is so powerful that it makes you feel better, right? It might be placebo. All of this might be placebo.
Thank you so much. I hope there's nobody else who has any question or anything else. If somebody has anything to say, because I want to make a summary of what he has just told us today, then we close the meeting. Or maybe a recommendation, or maybe thanking him.
Hi, hello again. Just so you're basically eating juicing fruit, citrus fruit, and you say you sometimes eat avocados and bananas.
Yes. I have an avocado addiction, and I'm trying to beat it. I was all cocky when I first beat cooked food addiction. I was like, look, I beat cooked food addiction, but little did I know, even avocados is super addicting, and it reminds me of comfort foods. Like sometimes it tastes like cooked foods, the way the way it ripens up, and I think that's what triggers me to
thicker. Because
yes.
It's thicker. And I think I'm addicted to tomatoes. There's cherry tomatoes, the small ones, the just like salty, and yeah, you get addicted to fruit and vegetables.
It is, especially like onions. Now, like when I tell people my cheat meal, I'll have a salad with onions because it reminds me of the comfort food I had back in the day.
Onions and garlic, just for the spices. It's hard to, just like I'm saying, trying to salt and spices. I feel it's getting better. You're used to these strong tastes, very sweet, very spiced, very salted. You have to get rid of these, get used to the gentle taste, sweetness of natural fruits, the salty, the salt from natural vegetables, not these strong spiced tastes.
Yeah, that's by the way, that's so nice of the dry fasts. The dry fasts reset your taste buds.
Yes.
Like every time I do like a long dry fast, I cannot stand any cooked foods or oily stuff. I only want fruits.
It becomes really sensitive.
Yeah,
Especially like you do a long dry fast or you do a long fast and you eat a carrot, the sweetness of the carrot is like, oh my goodness, I didn't know carrots were this sweet,
Exactly.
You start to appreciate.
And it resets everything. Yeah.
As opposed to eating a pizza, you got all kinds of taste in there. You're dipping it in ranch sauce and then your body takes so much energy to process it, and now you're tired. You want to take a nap. You go back to work after lunch. You go back to work and you're just sleepy. You don't feel like working.
Yeah, and now it's in your system again, and your brain wants
Yes.
more and more and more. Yeah.
Yes, it's like you quit alcohol for the longest time and you drink that little bit of alcohol again.
And it's back again.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so vegetables like their onions and garlic, they're also strong taste. So you also have to, I heard that they're not so good, onions and garlic, too much.
Not too much. Apparently they have antibiotic properties, but if you keep taking them, obviously it's not too good. It's not good. Apparently it's not really good for you. And they
That's
have
because of the sulfur.
That's right.
that too.
I
Yeah.
heard that.
Also heard, right? I'm not heard. I also believe that plants, they can't run away from humans. They don't want to be eaten, so they develop defense mechanism. And onion, the taste of the onion or the burning of the pepper is their defense mechanism. And so now you're putting in, they can develop toxins to keep
That's right.
predators. And then now you're eating all these toxins. Maybe a little bit of toxin is good because now your body's like, oh shit, here's toxin. I'll whoop his ass. And now I got stronger. But now you got all these toxins coming at you and you're just like, right? And then if it has antibiotic properties, then you might be killing a lot of your good bacteria as well. Not just bad bacteria, but you're killing off your good bacteria. You want to keep as much good bacteria as possible, and it helps control your mood. And then the bacteria that thrives on fruit will tell you, hey, more fruits. But then the bacteria that thrives on processed food like pizza will then tell you, hey, more pizza, even though you don't need it. Even though you don't need it. It's just the bacteria is telling you what to put in. Or it could be parasites. We could all be affected with parasites. We don't know. These parasites are blocking all these channels, telling you what to do, telling you what the negative things to say to people, giving all this negative. It could be so many things, and there's so many questions that I have, and I want to continue learning, and I'm glad to be connected with you guys.
There's no one to ask. We have to experience it ourselves. So, because there's no one to ask. I mean, we're the pioneers.
Right. I'm not gonna go to a doctor and ask about diet, and my doctor is like 50 pounds heavier than he should be. So it's like, man.
No, he's going to tell you drink milk and eat bread, and well, that's what they tell you.
Exactly.
They're so way behind us.
Even nutritionists, even a licensed nutritionist.
That's right.
He or she probably learned.
What do they study? What do they study there? We know better than they do.
They're told what to study. The information that they get from universities are probably corrupted by corporate and big industry to promote their interests. And so
the sad diet, yeah. Meat and animal products and grains and everything we know now that is not good. That's what they keep telling. I look at the doctor and you don't understand anything. You don't know the doctors.
God bless them, but yeah, we can't. Sometimes we can't depend on them. And then I also feel like, hey, energy. Let's say even animals have this good and bad energy. And so imagine you're a cow that is being raised in this big industry farm in a small space, and there's poop everywhere. And then your babies get taken away from you just so they could pump milk. And then you just live with sadness. And then that sad energy goes into the meat, or sad energy goes into the milk, and we're just drinking this sad energy.
Not to mention the infections, the antibiotics.
Yes, they're not natural. Those farm raised cows and pigs and animals, they're not natural anymore. They're like been getting affected by chemicals and food that's not natural.
Hormones and they're infected because they're milking them all the time, and they have all these infections and antibiotics, and everything goes into the milk and all the dairy products that people eat. They're full of
you know what, also with the karma behind it, because we only eat animals because they do all the work for us, because they eat their natural diet. And
Right.
so they get all their nutrients in, and then because we are not eating our natural diet, now we're eating the animals because they are doing it for us, so we can have our like false,
So second, third
yeah,
hand. It's
yeah,
not first hand energy, pure energy. It's contaminated with a lot of things. And
yeah.
I have a story about that. I have a friend who just had a baby, and I think I was explaining to her as she was pregnant, but she mentioned that she doesn't want to go on a vegan diet because her doctor says she needs the protein to give to her baby. And in my head, I'm thinking these are the same people who give their kids cow milk. And what do cows eat? They're not eating other meats, and they're able to give the nutrition to the kids that to your kids. Like they're vegans. Cows are vegans, and you don't want to be vegan to breastfeed your kid. Also, I came out with a theory. I came out with a theory that when I eat a lot of avocados, I store a lot more fat depending on how much I eat. And this could be because it's winter time and my body's just fattening up for winter. I don't know. But if avocados do help increase fat for everybody by eating lots, then I'm thinking, from what I understand, human breast milk has more fat content than any other mammal's breast milk. And so maybe having lots of fats for mothers or pregnant mothers might be good, because then they could convert that fat for their child, and I could be wrong, but right, I think that's probably why females have more estrogen, and the estrogen helps contain fat so that they could it'll be easier for them to
yeah, you could be right. That you could be right, because breast milk has like really little protein, they say, and like more fat. Yeah.
Fat. And so like, if breastfeeding mothers are worried about not getting enough nutrients in their breast milk for their kids, then maybe eat more fruits or add a little bit more
yeah,
fat to
and
the
I
diet.
think also
And I think
that's why and Dr. Morse also says it, like Dr. Morse also he always teaches when mothers cannot for any reason give breast milk, that they can use coconut milk to breastfeed or to feed their babies. So, and that's also more fatty. So yeah, I think that's yeah.
I think that's a better idea than giving them powdered formula made out of like
oh
cow
yeah
whey. It's just
nature is always better. Yeah,
That's
nature always wins.
It's become a normal thing for us to give formula milk, and it became a normal thing for us to have a little bit, like if we get too skinny, everybody think we're dying, right? Because a lot of the world now is overweight, and that become to our eyes that became normal. And so if we look underweight, all of a sudden we have an eating disorder. All of a sudden
we're underweight. They're normal. We are underweight.
And you know what actually, like, and that's also like, this world became so superficial, because a lot of people who carry a lot of weight, they think, oh, they're healthy, but it's actually it's just weight and toxins and stuff you're carrying. It's like false energy. It's not even real. It's not even like real nutrition. So they're actually the people that are like carrying a lot of weight and look healthy. They're actually not. They're actually malnourished. Like yeah.
And then they're constantly having to eat, because they're ghrelin, right? They're
because when you stop eating, detox mode kicks in, and that's what people every day want to suppress. And that's why they keep eating.
It's not just the detoxing; it's all the glands are not working. They need they need all the coffee and sugar and salt, because they're dependent on these external and artificial stimulants.
Yeah, because their nature isn't like balanced.
Their glands are not thyroid, and they're not working anymore. So they need all these stimulants.
Yes.
Artificial
Yeah,
stimulants.
totally. And I'm glad you brought up coffee, because I notice a lot of folks that I help try to fast who are addicted to caffeine or coffee. Right away, they feel like they want to throw up. They have this super headache. So from what I heard, coffee is really bad for your gut and really addictive. And so for people who want to go into this fruitarian diet or fasting, the coffee drinkers, the cigarette smokers might go through a lot of
Detoxing.
Detoxing. The
Detoxing.
detox effect, right? And my advice is to go your pace, and remember that this is not because you're dying. You are detoxing out the toxins, and you're going through withdrawals. I can't say that word. I've been working with English so long, but I still can't say
withdrawal.
Withdrawal.
Yeah,
Frederick
withdrawal
says it better
symptoms.
than I did.
Withdrawal symptoms.
Frederick, you say it better than I did. But yeah, apparently the coffee withdrawal is one of the hardest things. And imagine, coffee is very accepted socially. It's a accepted drugs that even kids can go to Starbucks and drink and start their addiction early. And so boom, the big food industry and big medical and big pharma industry just got you right in the balls, or right in the leg, got you with that coffee. And now but it's not impossible to quit, right? But some people are able to quit cigarettes easily. Some people are a little prone to having a harder time. I believe you can do it. It's all in the mind. Mind is so powerful that if you really dedicate yourself, if you really believe you can do it, then it's going to sound cliche, but if you believe, then you achieve. And it's not impossible. Your mind is very powerful. And once you start realizing how powerful your mind is, it'll blow your mind how much good things you can manifest for yourself. Like I didn't go out and make my YouTube channel. Well, I actually post on Facebook posts and all that, but I wanted something like this, and I wanted to share with the world, and typing takes forever for me. So I'm glad I was patient, and then 1 year later, Frederick sends me a message saying, hey, we want to do a webinar. Now a lot of things open up for me. Now I could share my knowledge, without typing it. Some people might not even read it, right? Some people want that shortcut. They want that magical pill. They'd rather hear it. They'd rather watch the movie than read the movie, right? And I'm very glad. Thank you very much, Frederick.
You're most welcome, Alan.
It's an honor to come and share. And yeah, any questions that anybody have, please feel free to ask me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Facebook, you can just find me, Alan Manglona. And then on Instagram, I think you could type Alan Manglona, but my Instagram handle is sketchmcgetch, SKETCHMCGETCH. It's really confusing for me, but send me a message.
Alan, don't worry. I'm going to put all your details there. I'm going to take your links.
Awesome.
I'm going to put the direct links into your Instagram, into your page, or below the video, because you're going to be in a YouTube video. This
Awesome.
video, this is going to be in the YouTube. So under the video, we're going to put those details on how people can contact you. If you even want somebody wants to contact you through email, if you feel so, we're going to put it there.
Awesome.
Exactly. All of them.
Thank you.
All of them.
Thank you very much.
Instagram, Facebook, and
share this with the world.
Yeah. It's going to reach the rest of the world. And most important, I said, I was just going to conclude this. One thing you said that nobody else has told us, the whole world, where you grow your own fruits, you eat them, and the tomato experience that you had, tomatoes, what happened that then you did what? How do you call it now?
You swallow the seeds.
Came out, again they grew.
Yes. Isn't
anything
that
like that.
beautiful?
So thank you so much.
Isn't that
This
beautiful?
has been very involving. Yeah. And Shireen, thank you for coming, because you have made this, you have added the flowers, and Revital. It's called Revital Abramovich. I don't know how to pronounce the name, please. Can you tell me?
Revital Abramovich. Yes,
Very
Revital
Revital
Abramovich.
Abramovich. Thank you.
Very
Thank you so
unique
much.
name.
Yeah. So you people made this
Pleasure.
very,
Yeah,
very
thank you
involving,
very
very
much.
lively.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you,
most welcome.
guys. This is my
Thank you. Thank you.
passion. Thank you for sharing
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, you're most welcome. Thank you. So we have
Thank you
concluded our
very much.
meeting today.
Definitely would like to do this again. Maybe,
Yeah.
after time goes by, we'll come back and we'll update each other on new information that we learned.
Exactly.
Keep on learning, keep on leveling up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So we'll still do another one with time. And I think Alan needs to introduce you. We have a group. We have two groups. One headed by Arik, another one headed by me, but we work collectively. We work as one on a prolonged dry fast. This is a WhatsApp group. Yeah, and another one is on weekly fast. Arik manages a group on weekly fast. So that's where we get, actually, most of our people who are here are members of that group, or those two groups. So I don't know if maybe you may be interested in one. You can join any of the groups if you interested.
Please send me an invite. Please send me an invite.
Okay. Thank you.
Fasting is another thing that I'm really interested in, and I think it's something that it can really help people.
Thank you.
Open up these channels, right, and learn more, and open up to learn more, right?
Okay. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Beat that fear.
Just before you go, guys, Alan, you're a legend. I love you both from Ireland. All right. I was here for the first hour and a half, had to go, but here I'm back, bro. Really inspiring, bro. Really inspiring.
Darren from Ireland. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No worries, guys.
Awesome.
And thank you very, very much. Thank you.
I was waiting for you, Arik. I was really waiting for you.
No, I have been here. I was just muted because I had to do something else. But I'm here, so now we can officially end the webinar, and maybe we will make another one in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.